Listen, folks, I know there's a history here. I'd like to get this hearing in today. You know, everybody needs to just focus on the relevant facts, okay? I know there's a history here. I know.
Are you talking up by Sunset Mart? Up the hill by the gas station?
Yeah.
Okay. Why did you?
What is up, TNT? Let's get this party started.
All right. Who's responsible here?
Goes out to all the people in
Who's responsible here? Whose house is this?
You haven't been drinking or anything, right?
No.
Okay. Drive careful, okay?
Thank you.
This is what the other group had that ran away.
Oh, really? You just ditched it? Awesome.
Yeah, those ones kept walking in the car and the other one.
It's truly for the win.
Idaho! I've been missing you guys like crazy. University of Idaho. Disc that I was given to. So there was 2 different discs. Okay? They all knew about it.
Okay.
Okay, yeah.
But this is the second noise complaint we've had here tonight within 2 hours.
How are you?
Good, how are you?
Good. Is this your place?
Yeah.
Perfect. You know why we're here?
I see noise.
Noise, yeah.
Yeah.
Big speaker right there.
Yeah.
Nothing against having a party. Once neighbors start calling in, then we have an issue.
Like brains, and like if you need a lot of brains, you're gonna be in trouble.
What is up, everybody? Welcome to Truth and Transparency. Let's talk about it. The University of Idaho murders back in 2022, November 12th, going into the 13th. 4 students were stabbed to death inside 3 of their rental home, with the 4th being the boyfriend of one of the other girls that actually rented the place. 2 roommates completely unharmed, and a lot of questions surrounding those unharmed roommates. How could they not be touched, right? Well, Truth and Transparency brought you guys loads of body cam, the most important body cam, so that you guys could have a really good idea of what truly went on at the house, who had access to the house, what they were doing at the house. But we also found out that the police were well aware of this house, and they just cared about pouring out people's drinks. So welcome, come on in. Those of you guys that have been following the Karen Reed case, this is the case that I began immediately once the murders happened. And then Doug did a lot of things before there was ever a suspect that was arrested. And nothing seemed to add up once they did name the suspect, Brian Kohlberger. Things just were off. When everybody heard the name Brian Kohlberger, they're like, who's Brian Kohlberger? He's not even on our radar. We don't even know this person. We don't even know that answer. Well, not only did we have those questions, but all of America and the other countries that were following this case had those questions. Who is Brian Kohlberger? How does he know these victims? How do the victims know him? What about the other surviving roommates? But prior to ever arresting anybody, there was one family that was very, very vocal, and that was Kaylee Gonzalez's family. They were very, very vocal. Immediately when this happened, we stormed social media and we screen recorded and took pictures of every single, whether it was Facebook, whether it was Instagram, whether it was Venmo, we screen recorded and took pictures of every single roommate, anybody that lived in that house, people that were friends with people, anybody that received money from the girls via Venmo. We took screen recordings, we took pictures of, and we stored that all away. Then we put together a timeline of events of who these victims and the survivors hung out with. And we kind of laid a timeline surrounding the months leading up to the murder. With that said, during that time, we had the media interviewing, whether it was neighbors, family members, the Bill Thompson, the prosecutor in this case. The prosecutor is literally doing press conferences, or I shouldn't even say press conferences. He was just doing sit downs with local media and nationwide CNN, you name it, media. Really, really early on, when this case was as far away from ever being solved as you could possibly imagine. So much so that this case needed the hidden work of using investigative genealogy, genetic genealogy, something that they won't even use in a cold case known as John Benet Ramsey's case. The dad of John Benet Ramsey has been trying for years to get the law enforcement that have worked her case all on the same page to say, there's DNA. Can we use IgG? Can we use a third party to see if that DNA could possibly get a hit on family members? And then we can kind of like map it out. That case, it's a cold case for years, doesn't even get, consideration for IgG. You're supposed to wait all the way until you have nothing, and like years go by before you start using IgG. Well, not in this case. In fact, IgG is truly the only reason that they ever knew about Bryan Kohberger. The media can tell you whatever they want. The prosecutor can tell you whatever they want. But Bryan Kohberger's name is nowhere to be found in any report until the FBI drops a quote unquote a tip, and that tip is just to investigate Bryan Kohberger. Wow, right? So this will go down in history as being one of the most interesting in terms of researching cases where you have 6 people in a house, 2 of them not touched, not even part of anything, allegedly, and that they don't call 911. They don't even know what's going on. And 4 other people are brutally stabbed to death, which you would think would be a loud 4 people. Not all, there'd have to be some time in between because they were located on different floors. But at the end of the day, they're saying that somebody went into a home and did all of this in like 7 to 9 minutes when this all comes out. But this will go down in history as one of the most, like, when you want to talk about researching fascinating cases in terms of researching. Now, everybody's been saying, Lana, why aren't you covering the Idaho4 case? I've covered the shit out of the Idaho4 case. I'm not just going to talk about a case to talk about a case if there's nothing to talk about. So much so that this channel has put out enormous amount of content on that case, and not just content to put content out. I don't go with, oh, this or that, like literally putting out worthy, want to listen to this. This is what's going on. Finally, the judge has given us a date, June 2nd, 2025. Hey, we have a trial. And hey, it's going to go all the way and until the end of August of 2025. So we have June 2nd to August 29th, 2025. But there's something that's really, really interesting about this. It's not even the trial date that's interesting to me. We already knew that the trial date was going to be in the summer. of 2025. And that's exactly what they did. June 2nd. It's going to be after graduation. They're going to try to take as many people away from this as they can. And so June 2nd to August 29th. That's what they're thinking. So it's already out there, 3-month trial. But are you guys aware of the trial schedule? It's called a case management schedule. And in a case management schedule, what that means is anything that's going to go to trial, you have a schedule of when things have to be done. Like there's a deadline for so many things. When you have to have your witness list in, when you have to have your discovery to this, the discovery has to be over to the defense, and the defense has to have reciprocal discovery, and they have a deadline for that. But everything has deadlines. And there's a very interesting deadline that we all need to talk about before I get into what the headliner is, which is Maddie and Kaylee and their special relationship. Judge gave a November 2024 date as the last date that you could possibly get in a motion for anything that you were trying to suppress. I about fell over when I saw this date. You guys, the trial isn't, and just to put this in perspective, the trial isn't until June of 2025. And Judge put a date of November of 2024 as the last date that if you want to have anything suppressed in this case, you have to have your motion in to suppress whatever you're trying to suppress in November of 2020. For example, the Karen Reed case, to suppress and have a hearing that's suppressing items like of evidentiary value, they were doing that all the way up and until a month before trial. So you're telling me that good old Santa Claus has to have the discovery over to Ann Taylor in August of 2024, and then Ann has literally September and October, 2 months to go through. That's the deadline date of when the prosecution could get the defense. Here's the discovery. This is the only items that can be used. So it's anything up and until that August date of 2024. These are all of the items that can possibly be used against your client. Then you have to go through these items. And if things don't have, let's say, a chain of custody, you're putting out there that whatever you think should be suppressed and shouldn't be used at trial. You have to put your motion in, and that has to be in November of 2024. That's fucking insane. When you want to talk about the volume of discovery that is in this case, based on what Ann Taylor hasn't lied to us one bit. Ann Taylor's been legit. Everything that Ann Taylor has said has truly happened in this case. If she says that we have an issue here, how did you get to my client? How did you get to my client? What ends up happening? A dude by the name of Cy Ray, who basically started a software program called Trax, is coming out and saying, well, I'm usually testifying for the prosecution here. I'm ex-cop, and I have no idea what the fuck y'all have done. And I know you guys, and you guys know what you're doing. What have you done here in this case? Because you're talking about you arrested Brian Koberger off of a probable cause affidavit warrant that said, hey, Brian Koberger was here, and you're tracking him. But guess what? Cy Ray comes out and says, none of this truly happened. Based off of what you've provided, you're missing hella gaps, so much so that what you're missing is actually, he used the word exculpatory, the same word that Batanti used about Bethany. Exculpatory means that if you actually have all the information and what you're providing, it actually proves opposite of what you're saying. That's what exculpatory means. Inculpatory means that if you're providing, so let's say that we're part of the defense team and we're providing information to the prosecution, or even if the prosecution is providing it to us, but you're giving me information that shows that other people are like, we're inculpating them. So that means other people are responsible for it in what I'm about to hand over to you. Do you want to know when you should worry about a case? You should worry about a case when mainstream media goes ice cold. During the Karen Read case, mainstream media was like, oh my God, thank God we have the Karen Read case. Thank God we have the Karen Read case. Because we don't have to talk about how fucked up the Idaho4 case is right now. So the Karen Read case is literally buying us hella time. So we don't have to talk about the fact that, whoa, the police and the prosecution in the Idaho4 case are so royally fucked right now. And thank God we don't have to address it. Thank God this is taking all of our viewership and they're focusing on the Karen Read case. That's literally what every mainstream media outlet was thinking during the Karen Read case. Hey, oh my God, pump the Karen Read case, because if we have to talk about the Idaho4 case, holy shit, we are fucked. And what I mean by that is the state has so many problems right now, it's not even funny. Let's start with number one. The first problem that the state has is their witnesses didn't call 911 for 8 to 9 to 10 hours. And they were inside of a house that people were getting stabbed repeatedly. Problem. That's just right off the rip. Number two is I think they're going to have a huge problem with the crime scene and that it wasn't processed properly. I've gotten really accustomed to the way that Idaho State Police operate. Woohoo! And daddy, if they've done even 1/4 of what they did in the Dr. Moore case, Dr. Dre case, holy shit. I think it's going to be one of those things like Alan Jackson had to decide, do we suppress this or do we show it? And let me explain what I mean by that. The leaf blowing and the solo red cups. There's no chain of custody on that. They were sitting nowhere in an evidence locker. There's no logs in this. We could totally make it so that that never sees the light of day. So do we suppress that, or do we let it in to show the jury how fucked up they gathered evidence in red solo cups, contaminated cups? Then they only took 2 out of the 6 cups of the blood and had that tested. But for days on end, that blood was just sitting in a brown paper bag, unsealed, in a Sally port. And then, like, again, there's no chain of custody with any logs. There are no logs. So Alan Jackson and team decided that we're not going to suppress a damn thing. We want America and the rest of the world to see exactly how they tried to frame Karen Read. So then you look at the Idaho4 case, and Ann Taylor has a huge question to answer, which is, first thing that she did was she's done everything by the book. She was fighting tooth and nail that this should have never been. How is my client getting indicted by the grand jury? What did you tell the grand jury? They lied their fucking asses off to the grand jury. Literally lied their fucking tits off. Ann Taylor knew that. And they tried to like show that. It was supposed to be a preliminary hearing, but then they had to immediately, whoop, curtains. We got to stop there. We cannot go preliminary hearing because we're going to get our asses handed to us. We need to indict this man through the grand jury. What do they? And they have the right to do that, but you don't have the right to lie. And so what do? They indict Brian Kohlberger off of lies, straight up lies. Just like they did Karen Reed. That's true. So Ann Taylor is doing her job, which is they're reading the minutes and they're reading the testimony from the grand jury, and they're like, holy shit. Wow. So she put all the paperwork in, and everyone was like, all the lawyers out there were like, dude, this is a joke. Why is she doing any of this? Why are they arguing this and blah, blah, blah. Well, you're going to see why probably in about 6 months or less. But Ann Taylor has the same, it's not a problem. It's a, how do we want to tackle this? Just like Alan Jackson, how do we want to tackle this? Ann Taylor is going to have to decide what she wants to suppress and what she doesn't want to suppress as far as evidence goes. And what I mean by that is they just had an evidence, like they just basically had, let's see, back about a month ago, they had a hearing where the guy that created the software that was used by Payne and Mowry to literally get search warrants, and what they said that they obtained and what it transpired, and then they went and obtained another search warrant. Basically, none of that shit was true. So they should have never been able to get the things that they did, right? Because they were not honest in those search warrants. And then anybody should have been doing these driving tests, and then these driving tests didn't come back to show that they have any data. The data that they have is missing huge patches, which is actually like the bulk of it to show that Brian Kohlberger is exactly where you're trying to say that he is. But the data that you're trying to say that you had when you did all of this doesn't show what you're trying to say that you said in the probable cause affidavit. And so you have to ask yourself, how do you go about this? Well, I don't trust juries anymore, just like I don't trust cops that try to do this type of shit. You're going to put this in the hand of jurors who literally believe that the cops are Jesus Christ and can't do anything wrong. And that there is no way that a cop would ever lie, and there's no way that a prosecutor would ever lie, and they don't have any skin in the game, and they were told their whole life that the police are there to help. That's the jurors that you're going to be dealing with. But truth be told, you should just, like, if you're going in there to like watch and judge a case for what it is, you should have a clear mind. But nobody goes into a case thinking as a juror, they're already looking at, they didn't arrest you for no reason. They arrested you for a reason, right? Think about that. Why should I have to prove my innocence? Why should I have to be talking about that this person, Brian Kohlberger, didn't do it? We should be talking about all the things that show that Brian Kohlberger did do it. And you know what's sad is that I can't sit up here and tell you all the reasons that Brian Kohlberger did it. His car should be lit up with blood. He should know these victims. There should be some type of connection with that, right? He, in his phone, he would have Google searched them. It's 2022. Like, how does this man not have any connection to these victims, right? That's not how people think, though. That's how they should think, but that's not how they think. They look at it as the cops didn't arrest you for no reason. That's a problem. The United States of America, that's our problem right there. Well, let me explain something to you guys about that. The cops arrested you, or whoever, based off of whatever they used to arrest you. And so how do you explain that to a jury? Like, the only reason my client was arrested is because of this. How do you tell them that? Well, you kind of can't, right? So in this case, you needed to suppress, in my opinion, after I saw the Karen Reed case, Brian Kohlberger across the United States of America and all the world's all the countries surrounding, so the whole entire world, Brian Kohlberger has literally been hung by everybody. He did this. He's a sick fuck. And he's going to do it again because he's creepy, because he's an incel. How do you overcome that? Like legit, how do you overcome that? This isn't a conspiracy with Brian Kohlberger case. This is a case that the cops and the FBI violated their own policy. Then the FBI lied about the data points of the cast. And then a random name pops up, no connection to any of these kids, and that they then have to work backwards. Vanna, doesn't the DNA on the knife sheath give you pause, though? I'm so glad that you said that. I'm so glad that you said that. What should give everybody pause is that if you truly got to Brian Kohlberger because you used IgG, that once you got that name, everything else should fall in line. And it doesn't. That's what bothers me, is that you used IgG unethically. And then even when you had to use it unethically, then when you're going to check off all of these points that then you're writing in a probable cause affidavit that you say that you don't have. And when you're thinking that these search warrants are going to return something, they don't. Meaning his car has no DNA in it, no blood, no nothing. Do you know how bloody somebody was when they did what they did and then ran into a car and got in a car, like a secondary crime scene, and there's nothing in it? And then they went to their apartment and took a shower at some point. No pieces of hair, fiber, nothing. So once you got the IgG and you have this name, if this man did it, I think that it should all be there. Especially since it's 2022 when this happened. And so my pause is that holy shit, it's not there. Like, listen to everybody that was talking about this. Like, once they arrested him, oh, wait till the forensics come back on that car. And I'm thinking, yeah, let me see that. Let me see that. I can't wait to see this. And then boom, nothing. They took apart that car like you wouldn't believe. They took the doors off. They took the seats out. Holy shit, no way. Okay, that's wild. His office, his apartment, his parents' place. Then you take his digitals and nothing goes back to those victims or the house or anything. To the point that Ann Taylor is getting up with the rest of her people and they're saying, hey guys, how did you even get to our client again? Because none of this makes sense. And everything that you're saying, it doesn't make sense. So just come clean and say that you had DNA on a sheet that they're saying was placed, which would be another word for planted. But it looks planted when that's the only piece of evidence against him. Like, that's a problem. Like that's like me saying, well, shit, you didn't have anything on Karen Reed until after you had her car, and then all of a sudden there's all these taillight pieces. It's no different than saying you had nothing on Brian Kohlberger until the one piece of evidence, which is the sheath, happened to have DNA of him on it, right? And then you know what I'm so pissed about is that if this guy was preparing to be a serial killer, right? That you little fuckers fucked this up so bad that this man who's a killer is going to walk because you guys are so fucking inept. And you fucking did shit by cheating. And this guy's a killer. And now he's going to walk. There is nothing more that I just want to rage about. Because that's what we're looking at. And so I'm on, like, my blood is boiling, because if you guys would have just done your fucking jobs, okay, and taken the time to do it the right way, then you would have this man the right way, being able to prosecute him, and his ass is going away for life, if not dead, right? But no, instead we had to deal with Idaho and the way that Idaho State Police operate and the way that the locals operate. And it's like, you got to be fucking kidding me. These are people that take pictures of using a tape measure without showing the ground. And we're just supposed to believe that you put it all the way to the ground when you take. I can only imagine what those crime scene photos look like. We have a police chief that's saying, I don't even know that answer. People were just coming and going. We don't even know who was there. You have your damn lead investigator that just got ate up and spit out by Ann Taylor in a fucking preliminary motion over fucking evidence that you guys lied about to get search warrants and an arrest warrant. That's sick. You don't need to do that with fucking guilty people. You don't need to do that. You literally don't need to do that. But how does that happen? How does that even happen? Because you guys are greedy, and the University of Idaho could not possibly take a blow at enrollment. So we need to make sure that everybody comes back after Christmas. So we need to make an arrest. And let's say that Brian Kober is your guy, right? Where's your integrity? Where was somebody that had the fucking cahoons to get everybody in that room and say, listen, you don't understand. It's 2022. The internet is so way past, like, mainstream media is only going to take our narrative so far. We have to worry about all these other people that are going to dive into this and are going to tear us apart. But they don't think that, they think that they're above the law. Idaho, like, law enforcement from Idaho, they think that they are the law. People that are in law enforcement in Idaho, they think that they are the law. It's kind of like Canton. It's kind of like Norfolk County. But Idaho across the board, man, I'm telling you what, if you are in law enforcement in Idaho, you think that you are better than everybody else and that you are the law. And it's the old boys and girls aren't even in the club. But you know what I love? I love that Idaho is going to literally bend on over. And they should. Because these whacks that live over there, the Christ churchgoers and like the inept policing in Idaho is literally barf worthy. It's going to make Karen Reed's case look like that it was handled properly. That's what's about to happen. Bill Thompson is so fucked. The FBI needs a win so bad. I hope to God they put all their eggs in that basket over there in Canton and do so many good things over there in Boston area, because the ass beating that they are going to take in Idaho is literally going to destroy the FBI. Everybody that has been arrested due to CAST ever being used, and the people that have ever testified to CAST, those cases are coming back And they were everybody that has in the past 10 years that has been arrested based off of caste and caste being used, and anybody that's testified to caste, I'm telling you right now, the University of Idaho case is going to put all of those cases back in appeal mode immediately. Because it's wrong. Because caste is wrong. What people have testified to is wrong. That means people are in prison based off of wrong information. Do you know what that's, I mean, think about the Karen Reed case just because it just happened. That dude, Nicholas Guerrero, got up there and said that John didn't get out of the car and start walking because his health data was him going like this with his phone and going like this. And that's what registered steps and flights of stairs because he was in a vehicle and they were going over some hills. But the street that this allegedly happened on is as flat as a 5-year-old. And it's just like, there's no hills. If health data was that off, none of us would have iPhones. But that's what that motherfucker testified to in the Karen Reed case. And he used Cyray's tracks. So I think that whether or not Cyray probably wants to talk about it, but he's probably going to have to talk about that at some point because I think it's going to come out in case or trial 2, if there is a trial 2, on the interpretation of Trooper Guerrero on Cyray's tracks, Google Tracks. Because literally, I personally believe that he's wrong and how he interpreted it based off of the time that it actually happened 3 minutes before that. And so therefore, when they arrived at 34 Fairview, the Waze was off of one of the other internal clocks. So they're going to have to truly talk about what Nicholas Guerrero testified to, because it's going to come up in a lot of other cases. And that would be when they Googled Waze. So that's going to be really, really interesting. But going back to the Idaho4 case, prior to there ever being a suspect in this case, when I was looking at the Venmos and when I was looking at Instagram between Kaylee and Maddie, something stuck out to me. And it was when they decided that they were going to, Kaylee got into a sorority that was different than Maddie. And so they weren't going to be going into the same sorority houses. Let me tell you something. It's unfortunate that nobody told those two girls that if you're going to go into different houses, you guys are going to be doing different things because you're going to have to give all your time to your sorority house. So your friendship is going to, you're just not going to be able to hang out like you used to because you're going to be doing things that your house is doing. And then that person's doing things that their house is doing. And that's just the way it goes. So, Maddie's date, senior year of high school, there was a breakup right before prom. And so Maddie went to prom with no male date. And it was actually like Maddie, Kaylee, and like Jack D. And so Maddie didn't have a date. And so it's because the person that she was dating, this guy, they broke up right before prom. Don't know if you guys know that. So when I was going through their social media, what I started realizing and seeing is that that was during COVID in 2020. And so, first of all, Kaylee, when COVID hit, well, let me back up. After freshman year, you have the option actually during freshman year to try to get into your sorority house at the University of Idaho. You could actually live in your sorority house, or you could live in a dorm your freshman year. But if you rush and you get in, you could like get into your house actually as a freshman. I have it as neither of them did that. But during the sophomore year, Kaylee lost a significant amount of weight. Kaylee's transformation from when she was a freshman in college to when she was a sophomore in college was very, very significant. And you could have that from if you get taller, if you were to grow, you can go like, you could start working out more. Your lifestyle could change, whatever. But at the end of the day, Kaylee lost a significant amount of weight. And if you look at the pictures, they show that. Go ahead and look at Kaylee's sophomore year, October pictures from when they went to and did Halloween stuff. And she dressed up as a tennis player or something like that. Anyways, I paid attention to that. And normally like people gain like a freshman 15. Well, I noticed sophomore year there was hella weight loss. You could start taking Adderall, you could start blowing Coke. But normally you gain weight your freshman year and then you could start to lose things, whatever. Then I started paying attention to the comments that would be left on each other's Instagrams. Now, you have to remember that Snapchat became a thing, and on people's stories, if you're using Snapchat, it's more like you have to know that person and you're able to like see their stories and things like that. But I paid attention to the fact that Kaylee decided to write Maddie something like 46 weeks later on a post. Who the fuck goes back and looks at a post that would be 46 weeks old and write a post on it? And how I was able to figure this out is every single post that I did, and I did this back then, is I put the date that the post was made. And then when you go into the comment section, you could see 1 week ago, 2 weeks ago, 36 weeks ago, 4 weeks ago, however long it was. And all of the posts were relatively like, 76 weeks, 76 weeks, 76 weeks, 72 weeks, 60 weeks. And then I saw Kaylee's post on this post said something like 32 weeks. That means that Kaylee went back on a post that would have been almost 40 weeks old, which is almost a year, and decided to write a comment on it. And so I marked it down and I wanted to know more about this post. And the post was about Maddie saying that Fridays were for the girls. Friday nights is for the girls or whatever the post was, but it said for the girls. And Kaylee's post on it was, yeah, about that. Like, yeah, it was, wasn't it? Like something like smart ass. Okay. And I was like, wow. So she goes back on a way older post, comments, and the comment is a smart ass comment. Then I take when Christy did her second interview ever, Christy talked about Kaylee going to Moscow. And she said that Kaylee was undecided if she was going to even go there that weekend. And I said, why would she be? She was contemplating was the words that she used. Contemplating if she was even going to go there the weekend that this happened. And I said, normally if someone's contemplating on something to do, it's because you have options. It's like, okay, do I go to Moscow and hang out for senior football weekend? Or do I go to the Dave Matthews Band concert over in Seattle on that weekend? You have two options and you're going to decide what you're going to do. Well, that's not what Christy said. And Kaylee it was an internal thing. Like, should I do this or should I not do this? It was within herself. And then Christy said something very, very interesting, which was, and then I talked to both girls and everything went really, really well, like the Friday night. And it's like, why did you think that it wouldn't go well? Like you talked to both girls the next day and and it was a good night. Everything was good. Well, why wouldn't it be good? Why would you think that it wouldn't be good? Why would Kaylee be expecting, or you or anybody be expecting, that it wasn't going to be a good night? But there would be a problem. And why would you have to talk to both girls to make sure that it was I talked to both girls and they both said that, they had fun. Now, you have to remember that Kaylee decided that she was going to live in the house that Maddie lived in the previous year. Who moves into a house if you're only going to live in a house for 2 months? Why the fuck would I ever allow that to happen? And then I have to worry about paying, wait, you're only going to live with us for 2 weeks in August, and then September and October, and then you're moving out? That's not even a semester. Don't you have to finish your school so that then you're going to walk in December? So that doesn't make any sense to me. And everybody out there was like, no, people were paying based on the bedroom. Not this house. Not this house at all. And do you guys remember when the TikToker came out and said that Kaylee was in some relationship with a teacher and it was like a girl-on-girl relationship? You know what I thought was interesting about that? Is that the teacher was fucking irate, sued the bitch, right? And that TikToker is absolutely out of her fucking gourd. But you know what you didn't see? You didn't see any of their friends in college or the parents saying anything like that was wild. You didn't. When somebody called Dylan a transvestite, fucking people went absolutely crazy, right? Absolutely wild, as they should have, right? But when that shit came out, it was like nobody said anything like Kaylee was in love with Jack and she was trying to get back together with Jack. What are you talking about? How could you say that? Right? Remember? There was none of that. Then I talked to the Jordan girl who was planning on living with Kaylee in Austin in June of 2023. And she had no idea that Kaylee was planning on renting a place before she ever got down there and was going to sublet her house. Do you guys remember when everybody was trying to figure out, did Kaylee live there? Did Kaylee move out? Wait, all of her stuff was still in that room though. Why was her bed in there? Why was any of her things in there? Why did the family never come out and talk about that? Well, I'm just going to tell you flat out, this is why. Because in the Venmo conversations, Kaylee owed people money for the bills. Xana was trying to get that money. Kaylee was ignoring it. And then Maddie had to ask Kaylee for the money. And the reason that Xana used Maddie is because, hey, if you ask for it, she'll give it to you. She'll make sure that she pays if you ask for it, because why? She's in love with you. You have to ask for it. But she owes money on these bills and she needs to pay, and she's ignoring my Venmo requests. But if you ask for it, you'll be able to get it out. You'll be able to get her to pay. And then the infamous, they finally got into the same house together. They died in the bed together. Mr. Gonsalves claiming Maddie as a daughter, right? At first, when I heard that, I thought that basically Maddie's parents were just non-existent and that they were pieces of shit. And here you have this guy that basically took in this girl because she needed a family because her family was just a bunch of basically fucks, right? Then you actually see Maddie's family, and she has a mom and she has a dad, and you have a guy that's claiming Maddie is his daughter. Well, let me tell you why I believe he was claiming her as a daughter. It's like when you're dating a guy and somebody says that it's like a son to them because you're dating that person, you're in that type of a relationship, you know them in that capacity, and you're like, they're like a son to me because they've been dating my daughter for a very long time. He's like a son to us. So calling Maddie like a daughter, think about it. You're a daughter to us because you've dated my daughter on and off for probably how long? That's what would make sense in my head as to why somebody would call and to say that Maddie's like a daughter to us. And because what? Wouldn't you kind of like back off that in a way? And then do you remember when the Gonsalveses said that somebody was acting differently right before the murders, but they don't want to really talk about that, and there'll be probably a time to talk about that. Do you guys remember that? That somebody wasn't acting like themselves, something was off. And common sense would tell you one thing when you break down every single interview that the Gonsalveses have done, but more importantly, who they actually knew. The only people that the Gonsalveses knew was Maddie. They didn't know Dylan. They didn't know Xana. They didn't know Ethan. Okay. So for the Gonsalveses to say that anybody was acting differently, the only person they knew was Maddie. So, they couldn't say that about anybody else. Do you know how hard it is to live with somebody that you have feelings for that are more like, I'm in love with you, but this person just like, but I love you, but like, I decided like, I want to be with Jake, but I love you to death. And, okay, we're going to try to have you living with us. But you know how hard it is to live with somebody that you want to be like best friends with, but they are in love with you. You know how hard that is? That would be the only thing in this whole entire world that would make sense as to why your best friend all of a sudden would move out like poof, and that they would have to because it was so hard to live there and seeing like and not being with that person. Oh, I'm definitely not reaching. Wait for the trial, honey. Promise. Wait for it. And the point of all of this is that if you want to talk about why anybody could possibly be killed, why were Maddie and Kaylee in the same bed that night? Why would Maddie and Kaylee be in the same bed that night in a twin bed versus in the bigger bed of Kaylee's room? Why the fuck would you be in the smaller bed versus the bigger bed? Wouldn't you sleep in a bigger bed? Who the fuck wants to sleep in a small ass little tiny bed? Why wasn't Kaylee Maddie's +1? Why wouldn't Kaylee be Maddie's +1 to that party? Well, because Dylan was a very good friend to Kaylee and said, hey, Why don't you come down here? You can be my +1 so that you can go to this party, so that you can hang out. Why wouldn't Maddie just make her a +1? Let me ask you this. Maybe Kaylee was contemplating on going, whether or not she was going. I would love to know when Jake decided that he wasn't going to go that weekend to the senior week game. Like that was the last home game for the football team. So they call it senior weekend, whatever you want to call it. It's the last home game for the seniors for football. When did Jake decide that he wasn't going to go that weekend? Is that what Kaylee was waiting for, to see if Jake was going to go or not? Okay, Jake's not going to go, so I'll go. Drunk girls falling asleep. I love it, James. I just love it. Yep. Okay, we'll see how that all plays out. And I'm just trying to say that, you know what Steve Gonsalves said to me in an email? You know that Brian Colbert doesn't like Brian Colbert hates your type of people. My type. Do you think that Brian Colbert hated Kaylee then? Mr. G? Is that what you're saying? It's 2022 back then. You know how many college girls sleep with other college girls? It doesn't mean that, oh my God, they're a lesbian, or oh my God, they're this, or da-da-da. They're just living their life, right? They're just, doing whatever. And then some guys are like, yeah, hey, I want to have a threesome. You want to do this, blah, blah, blah. But you can never help how you catch feelings for people. But I'm going to tell you what the hardest thing to do. The hardest thing in this world to do is when you try to live with somebody that you're in love with. It's very, very difficult. It's like it would cause fights between people, and then y'all look like weird around your friends. Like, wait, why are those two fighting? Like, what the fuck? Because you're trying to maybe like hide and mask something. And then you just decide like, okay, I'm just going to move out because I can't do this anymore. And we're just going to tell people that I'm taking the job earlier and I'm going to go to Austin earlier. Maddie was like a daughter to them. I told Adam everything. Everybody thinks that's about drugs. Wait till you guys hear all about what that's going to be about. Nobody moves into a house for 2 months and screws over a bunch of friends and sticks them with a bill that they're going to all have to pay an extra $125 a month. That would never happen. Your friends would say, no, you're still going to pay. You're still going to pay. And then when your friends are asking this person, hey, this bill's due and this bill's due and this bill's due, in the Venmos, they're asking Kaylee for money. And Kaylee's not paying it, but then Maddie has to ask Kaylee for the money. Now, why would anybody go to Maddie and say, hey, can you ask her for it? She'll pay it if you ask. Nobody writes on social media posts from fucking 46 weeks past and makes and points out that Fridays used to be for the girls. And that was a post that Maddie made for Kaylee back in the day. And then the year after that, Maddie made that post and was with another girl in a picture and said the same fucking thing that she said about her and Kaylee 46 weeks prior to. Go look it up. It's all there. And I believe that whoever killed that night wasn't expecting 2 people to be in that bedroom. Not in a million thousand years. So I will give Christy that, because you know what Christy said? She said that you went in there to kill 1 and you ended up killing 4. I'll give her that. Anybody that would case that house would never go upstairs, kill, and then think they're going to come back down and not be seen by anybody on a house that has 4 people possibly on that floor, when they can just walk out the back off of the patio, back top deck that literally is almost on the ground if you go all the way to the left. Anybody that would case that house would know that you're leaving out top. You would leave out the back bedroom, walk all the way to the left of that deck, and that's where you would jump off of. And it's so close to the ground. Why would you ever go back downstairs? Literally, that's the stupidest thing. If you're truly going in there just to kill the people or kill the person that would be upstairs. And it would be because you never planned on going out the back room because you thought that somebody was going to be sleeping in that back room. So therefore, you would never go back through that back room because you thought somebody was sleeping in that back room. So you would never go upstairs thinking that you could go out that room because somebody would have been in that room. So that was never the plan from jump. So that tells me that the person went up with the intentions to kill the person in Maddie's room. And there was somebody else in that bedroom. So 2 people were murdered in that bedroom. And then the person that planned this didn't think to themselves, okay, now I can go out the other bedroom. Because nobody was in that bedroom. They had no idea who they actually killed when they killed the second person, that it was the person that was in that back bedroom. How would they know that? How would the person know? You'd have to, like, if you don't know who you're killing and you're just picking out a house base of, how do you know that the person didn't possibly have 4 different houses that they were going to, hey, I'm gonna kill somebody at 1 of 4 of these houses, and then you ended up picking this house? I mean, is the state really prepared to say that Brian Koberger intended to go in there and he knew these people and he knew who he was killing? Because I don't think that's going to happen. I don't think that's what we're going to hear. Nobody would circle around a place 4 times. And then not only were they circling in there, but where were they when they actually left up out of there in all the time that they weren't circling back in there? What was this person doing in the white car? Absolutely no sense. Makes no sense. How hard do you think it's going to be to convict Brian Koberger when you're going to tell the jury that Brian Koberger didn't know these people? He had no reason to kill them, no motive, other than he wanted to be a serial killer. If you're a juror, why would you be convicting Brian Kober? What has been shown to you so far that you would convict him on? And it sucks because if he's the guy, he's going to walk. Because there's nothing there that you can convict Brian Kober on that we, the public, know. And I'm telling you, as confident as Ann Taylor sounds and the rest of her team sounds, and then the declarations that Cy Ray made in open court, whoo! If this is the man that truly did this, the state has royally fucked up, because this man is going to walk, and then we all have to fucking worry about this man killing again. And who's he going to kill next? All because you guys just couldn't do your fucking jobs. And maybe if it took an extra week or 2 or even maybe 10 weeks, you still had eyes on that motherfucker and you just couldn't do your job. But you guys decided to take money over making sure that this bastard went away. Fuck you. You know how pissed I am? Because if he truly did this, he is going to walk because you guys didn't do your job. And that's what the Gonzalezes should be pissed about. And that's who the fuck they should be suing. But in court, you're going to tell me that there's no DNA in the guy's car and that he got out of the house after fucking stabbing 4 people brutally and there's blood everywhere, and then he gets into a car and nothing transferred. And if you got his historical fucking data on his phone, where did this dude go to dispose of his clothes and the knife? Why aren't we looking for the knife? And they're just lying in mainstream media. Nancy Grace, shut the fuck up. Okay? I don't want to hear one more thing out of that woman's mouth. Because if he did it, you guys all need to figure out a way to pin his dick to the wall, because this man is going to walk if he did it. And if he didn't do it, which it looks like you guys tried to pin him to a case, okay, because you didn't, like, you're lying about what evidence you used to arrest him. It doesn't look good, because we have to keep all hush hush truly how we got there, and then just these miraculous cars just showing up in the 700 block of Indian Hill. Like, give me a break. And I'm over here like, I'm pissed, because if this man is who you said he is, he's going to kill again. Because he killed 4 people that he didn't even fucking know, you sick fucks. And he did it without a single shred of digital evidence showing that he even remotely looked these people up. That's crazy, right? And all because you guys had to make sure that your enrollment didn't drop. You guys just bought the University of Phoenix for a reason, because nobody has to go to school. That's the other thing. Kaylee was living with her sister at a house in Coeur d'Alene and Hayden Lakes around a bunch of fucking heroin motherfuckers. All right. Why don't you guys ever look up Kaylee's sister and how she took those kids from the baby daddy? You guys know all about that, don't you? Maybe you guys should look into that. Literally uprooted and took those kids away from their dad and his side of the family, who honestly watch those kids all the time. Look at social media. Took those kids away from the dad and literally uprooted and moved to California, where she just started up a life with that other motherfucker, got married and popped two more kids out, and then just gets picked up for domestic violence. Well, let me tell you something. Kaylee lived with Olivia in Hayden / Coeur d'Alene in this side-by-side. And the people that Olivia was hanging out with weren't good motherfuckers. And she knows that. Why didn't Kaylee live on campus and hang out with her sorority people? It's because she was hustling and she was taking her classes online. Meanwhile, Maddie was hanging out and living on campus and being a college kid. Kaylee was off doing 3 different things: being a great aunt, going and taking online classes, working at the coffee shop, and then somehow gets mixed up into making a bunch of money with a weird ass company that everybody has to lie about and say that she was actually interning. Fuck, she wasn't interning. She had a full-blown damn job. She had a full, that girl, according to Steve, had $100,000 in the bank. That's a lot of motherfucking money. Where'd the $100,000 come from? And if she didn't have that, then why are people that are repping Steve Gonsalves saying that? All I know is that Ann Taylor waxed Bill's ass, and everybody that's involved with the prosecution, which is law enforcement, literally Cy-Ray single-handedly and so politely destroyed Mowry and Payne in 1 hour. I think multiple knives and multiple weapons were touched in that house by multiple people. And I can only imagine what the first responders did when they arrived at that house, if it is anything like they did in the Moore Drake case. It's going to be bad. When Bill Thompson said that he could send his kid back to school, and he said that he knows things that we don't know, when Cy-Ray told all of us that there was some big-ass $1 million truck that was following Brian Kober around, and you didn't have to go get any of his records or whatever the hell y'all did, you guys didn't lose sight of Brian Kober. You have the $1 million vehicle watching every move that Brian Kober makes, so why are you lying about that? That's a problem for me. That's a huge fucking red flag for me. I could tell you the last thing that I think Cy-Ray would ever want to do is get involved. Have you guys watched their episodes? He's not going to go rep some fucking piece of shit and help somebody that there'd have to be a very good reason as to why anybody would ever inject themselves into this case. That's all I'm saying. Who the fuck wants to get involved with this case? It's career suicide, if you ask me, unless you got the nuts. It's like a poker game. And if you got the nuts and you're flush, you're sitting there with ace, king, and on the fucking flop, it comes queen, jack, 10, and you got king ace in your hand and you just the nuts. That's the only way anybody gets involved with this type of a case. And all I can think about is it all comes down to digitals. It all comes down to Brian Kober wasn't where they're saying he was. And holy shit. And these people lied in probable cause affidavits for arrests and search warrants. And they're in a lot of fucking hot water. And the FBI is backing the fuckerage. Do you guys know how easy it is to tell what the difference between a 2011 white Honda Elantra is in a 2016? Those lights on those cars are so fucking obvious of the difference that you can't even put a range to say, oh, that could be a 2011 to a 2016. Like, you can't range it like that, because the lights on a 2011 would never be underneath on the outside. Like, so you have, like, that would never even be an option. The camera has to be that bad to say that you're going to give it that type of a range. And then you set it after you had Kohlberger, and now you're just trying to, fit it in there. And that tells me that you have horrible, horrible camera on whatever you're eyeing up. But then even when you do all that, then the digital still don't prove that Brian was making this path that you say, and instead he's somewhere totally different. And you guys screwed yourself on the time of the crime. Like, you've narrowed it down to this 8 to 10 minute window, and you're married to that. And now, Jesus. I've heard Cyree said he hates corruption. Yeah. Who doesn't, right? When you're one of the good cops, that's why I don't understand why more good cops aren't pissed when people fuck with their, with what they do for a living. You're not going to give us a bad name. Fuck you. Get the fuck out of here. These unions, like, man, I'm telling you, pay teachers more, pay police officers more. They deserve it, and get better people. They're worth it. Anybody that's going to sacrifice their life for us we should be paying. But I think harsher penalties need to be there when somebody does something on purpose to try to fuck somebody's life up. I think that harsher penalties happen, but you have unions protecting people, and people can't even lose their job over it. Like, it's just, And I don't even know if it's better training, guys, or if it's just, I'm sorry, but we can't have people that think that, hey, I'm just not going to go to college, and instead I'm just going to go into law enforcement because it's easy. We can't have people that's why they become in law enforcement. Sorry. I don't want people like that. Just like why you want to become a doctor and a lawyer. Like, people do it. Yeah, they're going to make bank, right? So why can't we have law enforcement making bank? What lawyer or doctor sacrifices themselves to literally, like, it's wild. And then we're going to leave our teachers as sitting ducks in a school, and we're not going to we're going to guard our money with an armed guard at a bank, but we're not going to arm our schools and guard our schools where our kids and our teachers are. That's the most fucked up shit I've ever heard in my life. Let's protect our money. Fuck our money. I want to protect my kid from parents that don't want to be parents and buy their kids guns when they got mental illness. Fuck out of here. That's negligent, and you should have gotten in trouble for that. Want our teachers to go to school and be sitting ducks like our kids. I want our vets to come home and have a job protecting our schools and our kids and our teachers. That's what vets should do when they come home. We should have the right to arm ourselves, but we should also have the right to protect our kids at school. I shouldn't have to homeschool my kid. I want people that went and served our country to come home and protect our kids, and then maybe would not have any vets that are out on the streets. Makes me sick. You know what also makes me sick is when you got people that go to the town meetings and they're like, we're not having metal detectors. It makes our school and our community look like it's not safe. What? Have you been to an NBA game? Have you been to the mall? Like, where do you go every day of your life that you go into a bank, you walk through a metal detector? You go to the NBA arena, you walk through a metal detector. So having our kids go through a metal detector is a sign of that our community is like we live in a shithole or something. No, I don't like that's how fucked up these people are when they go to these PTA meetings. And I have to sit there and I listen to these parents and I'm like, I just got stupid listening to you guys talk for 15 minutes about the god awfulest shit I've ever heard in my life. You guys want to talk about Common Core math. Well, I want to talk about making sure that kids can't bring guns into school. How about that? But you guys want to talk about Common Core math. What happened to fucking flashcards? What happened to flashcards? What happened to flashcards? All right, guys, what do you guys think? Again, I support our public schools. I just think that when you have a bunch of jackasses in their brains trying to run our schools, I just look at them and I'm like, wow. Wow. The stuff that comes out of people's mouths. Again, I'm not sitting here, so nobody go make a video and say, oh, Lana said that Maddie and Kaylee were lesbians. Oh my God. That's not what I'm saying at all. I'm saying that I believe that Maddie and Kaylee 100% had more of a friendship than anybody could imagine. And just like a lot of people have sexual encounters, that was no different. And I believe that the families know about it. And I believe that something happened as to why Kaylee moved out, because I think that it was hard for her to live there. And that's why Christy called both of them to see how things went that weekend. So, and it kind of slipped. Also, I think Kaylee was trying to sublet her room out because it wasn't like the people that own the house say they're not renting their shit out by the rooms. That's not how it works. And it's all proven through Venmo. So let's see. I'll be in Idaho. Shit's going down at the end of August. There's a hearing to see if this gets moved. I think 100% this needs to be moved. I do not think that anybody could get a fair trial in Latah County, and that it should move. I think that Judge, if he wants to oversee it, awesome, great. But this 100% needs to move. And that's what's coming up at the end of August. It's going to be like a little mini trial, I guess you could say. Anybody out there that thinks that you can get a fair trial for this case in Latah County, as much as I wanted to stay there because I have connections, I guess, there now. I don't think that anybody can get a fair trial there, whoever it would be. So Lana, you don't believe, where was that? I haven't read Bloom's book. Somebody asked me if I read that book. I don't need to read anybody's book. I've done more research in this case than I think anybody has. I think I know a lot about this case. I have no idea what Bloom wrote. I think he had, before there was a gag order, I think that he had some inside info with local law enforcement, because I think local law enforcement was talking to mainstream media as well. But as soon as that gag order came out, they all got zipped. And so anything after that gag order, and that's where the real bombs are coming, is after the gag order, and all the evidence is pointing to a huge problem. The evidence doesn't support the arrest of Brian Culber, and that's really, really bad. You don't make a case after you get a name. That's what they did in the Moore case. You don't work backwards. You don't say, here's this names, here's the name Brian Kober, now make it fit. You just don't do that. And that's all you see. DMC, what up, baby? Question. They have had deadlines before because it's a case management schedule. So like these dates are, the only way that you're going to be able to bump those dates out is you're going to have to ask for, you're going to have to put it in writing and asking for more time. I'm telling you guys, a really big problem is the suppression being in November. I cannot believe it's that soon because that means you have literally, they're trying to do it before the holidays because what they're then thinking is that all we then truly have is like the end of January. Then you have February, March, April, May, 4 months before then the trial starts. I personally think that the suppressions, those motions should be in January. That's what I think. I think that having the suppression deadline in November is hella soon. And that truly straps the defense because they have to go through everything by that point. Have you guys taken a look at the order? It's like anything. It tells you the last date that you can give your witnesses, your experts, the suppression. I think if Frank's is coming, I think if Frank's hearing is coming, it should come. You guys, they lied their asses off in a probable cause for an arrest. And people have always asked me like, Lana, but what if like, that this person did it, but you can't prove it all the way. But if you cut a couple corners, you could, and I personally believe that you can get people the right way. And when you can't, it's because of the people that you have trying to get the person. You guys understand the FBI is going to take the stand and say that they unethically obtained the name Brian Kober when they chose to not pay the $700 to put in a law enforcement kit, and instead they put in a regular kit so they knew how to use the loophole. Okay. And then they did that, and that's how they were able to build their family tree to get to the name Brian Kober. So they're going to have to say that. Then after that, they're going to talk about the fact that they then left out huge chunks of data in the cast from the FBI is going to have to then say this. So they're going to say that about being unethical. And then you're going to have to listen to them talk about how they basically knew that this was faulty information in terms of the path of a cell phone. Woo! And it's like, after you hear that they unethically did that, now they're just lying about data. Woo! Like, but you have people that honestly, it's just going to go right over their heads because they're like, oh, they arrest him. He's got to be guilty. And it's like, even after the FBI sit here, like anybody would sit here and tell you that they attempted to cheat. And then even when they cheated, it's still wrong. Like, Brian Kober isn't where you say that he is. That's a problem. Woo! But when you have idiots on the jury, it doesn't matter. What is up, Annie? I want to know what Annie has to say. Where's my girl, Annie? Pots. You know what I went back and saw, guys? Ugh. I'll leave you guys with a cliffhanger. You know how we've all been saying that Judge is not making any decisions? He's just God, come on. Why isn't this guy like make an order? You know? So I did some research and I can't believe I'm going to say this. Do you know that Judge is signing orders that are either written by Ann Taylor or by Bill Thompson? Let me make sure you guys understand that. A judge normally writes up their own order and then they sign their own order. And in this case, if you go back and you look at all the orders and if you listen to what Judge says every single hearing, he gets them to stipulate, to basically come up with the order, and then he signs it. Do you know why? I just want to make sure you guys understand what I'm saying. Judge has not been making any calls, and in fact, he's getting the two parties to make the call together so that what he is signing is stipulated basically to, and it protects Judge from appeals. There you go. Someone's paying attention. Kay Baker. So he's not held accountable. It's even deeper than that. It's about appeals. If Ann Taylor and Bill Thompson, if both parties are the ones that are writing the order up and he's signing it, he is strategically protecting this from ever being able to be appealed during this process right now. And Judge, let me tell you, woo, you a smart man. You a smart man. So I'm going to go ahead and out that. I think that the defense needs to pay attention to that. Because strategically, that could affect appeals down the road. How about that for some law? You are not a lawyer, Lana. You know what's funny? I bet you I can pass the bar, motherfucker. I don't need to be a lawyer. I could pass the bar, though. In fact, I'm thinking about taking the bar on a live, so all of you guys can watch me take it. That way you guys can't say that I had somebody else take the bar. But you know that I don't have to be a lawyer to take the bar in Virginia or California, right? So I think that I just might take it. But I want to take it on a live. And you know what's great is I don't want to be a lawyer. I think lawyers are smug fucks. That's what I think. There's only 1 out of 10 lawyers that are worth a damn. And Brian Kohlberger has 2. Actually, he has 3. Talk about just hitting the jackpot for not paying. Woo! He got Ann Taylor J and one of the baddest bitches in the federal courts up there in Idaho. Woo! Maslow's a motherfucking beast. That girl knows some case law. Ann Taylor believes that her client's innocent. She thinks that the paperwork, the evidence proves that. And she hasn't lied to us yet, guys. So I'm still waiting to catch Ann Taylor in a lie. And I'll be the first to tell you. I truly believe that they believe that he's innocent and that he's being framed. So I think it'd be a hard decision. what would you suppress if you could suppress? And so you would want to suppress basically, if you used, I think everything that they got from the probable cause affidavit that states all of this bullshit that's not true, you're wiping out, like, you're wiping out everything on that damn stupid that PCA, that 19 pages of pure bullshit. There's no substance there. So what you have, what they could, they would lose, they would have to emerge on the IGG. And then when they say they got that by violating all of our fucking privacy rights, Jesus, they're so fucked. Everything, you guys, this is what everyone's saying, like, why hasn't Anne done this? Why is this case even still moving forward? You guys, unfortunately, this shit takes time. It's so bad, but you have to go in steps. And it's all strategic. I mean, this is somebody's, like, Brian Kohlberger is literally facing the death penalty. Like, you're going to be shot up. Okay? So, holy shit. Like, think about it. Like, you have one chance at this. You don't want to be put into the appeals process because that's a motherfucker to get up out of. So you want to, but if you don't think that they're strategizing and seeing and weighing out the options of, okay, we can go this way, but we don't want to play our hand too much with this. So they're like weighing. I personally believe that they lied their asses off to arrest Brian Kohlberger. And from the arrest of Brian Kohlberger, you got his DNA. So I don't think that anybody should see the light of day of his DNA matching the sheath on how they did that. What I mean by that is the only way that you got the swabs of Brian Kohlberger is because you were able to arrest him, and that was off of the PCA. The PCA, the only reason it was signed is because of what you put in about cast and the car and the phone, and none of that actually matches up because the data doesn't, and they got a two-part. They put in on December 23rd, 2 different warrants that they got signed. But they got them signed back to back, and there wasn't enough time to get the other one signed without lying on the data that you received from the first one to make it seem like that's how you got the second one. So from all of that, then you got that next part, which was Brian Kohlberger's historical. That means from June until November of 2022. That would all go away. I think or you let it stay in and you showed how the FBI pulled out the data that showed that the phone was actually going on a different path. And then that would lead credence to the sheath being planted. God, it's such a hard decision. I don't know. I wouldn't want to make that choice. I just think that the state's playing checkers, and Ann Taylor already knows 7 steps. Like, she already knows when she does something, she knows what they're already going to do. And before she makes the move, she's already made 2 other moves that kind of trap them. That's what I've been seeing lately. She didn't overly ask questions to Mowry so that she could pin Payne. I think Mowry and Payne are so royally fucked, it's not even funny. Ooh-wee. Somebody's going to have to rat somebody out. The dates on those, like, you could totally tell what they were doing with. Do you guys understand that what I think is going to come out is they weren't investigating it. Like, they weren't. You guys have heard all the families, and the families are like, they didn't even talk to us. They didn't even want to talk to us. They didn't talk to us. Like, why aren't you interviewing us? Isn't that kind of fucked up? Ooh. They had no idea who did this. And they told the world that this was an isolated, targeted incident. Isolated, targeted incident. And they didn't know shit when they said that. That's fucking crazy. And you got the family coming out. Olivia saying, leave. Do you understand? These people were just at home going to bed and they were murdered, and you want to stay in that town and nobody's been arrested? Like, you need to leave. Like, you are not safe. You are not safe. That's what Olivia was saying, right? And here the cops are saying that early on in the investigation, like right when they got on scene, that whatever was there pointed to the fact that this was an isolated, targeted. And I'm sorry, but arresting Brian Kohlberger and saying that he could just have picked out of a hat what house he wanted to go to, this would not be an isolated, targeted incident. But these motherfuckers had no problem saying that and keeping all of these students there as sitting ducks. That's who you're going to trust? Get the fuck up out of here. It's as bad as Canton. Oh, hell yeah. Idaho's a shit show. Idaho State Police is just like Massachusetts State Police. Good old boys club, man. And I can't wait for I cannot wait for this expose. Like, you guys thought Proctor was bad? Woo! Talk about the FBI outed Proctor. In Idaho, the FBI worked with the Idaho State Police. That's some fucked up shit right there. Like, FBI didn't come in and out Idaho State Police. The FBI said, let us help you. Dude, this is bad. Let us line this up for you. Ooh. Or in Massachusetts, the FBI was like, let us expose these fucking pieces of shit. In Idaho, it's like, we brought 42 agents in on this case for an isolated, targeted incident. We brought 42 FBI agents in on this case. To do what? The fuck are you bringing FBI agents in on this case? Day 1, day 2. That doesn't make a lick of sense. And then you have all of this grant money, and you have the Idaho State Police lab that is straight up designed for testing and doing everything that they were supposed to do. But then, oh wait, no, wait, stop working on that. We're going to go give it to the FBI to work on. Do you guys understand the chain of custody on how they possibly got trash from Brian Kohlberger's parents' house? You just had to take a bunch of trash. That means you would have tested a bunch of things because you have no idea what's on what. I cannot wait to hear about the trash and the testing of the trash, because how the fuck did the trash in Pennsylvania get to the Idaho State Police within just literally, like, no joke, hours, and then a result in less than hours, and then you're able to say that's then you're comparing it to the sheath, and it's not a match, but you're able to say that is the parent of the person that's DNA is on the sheath. And then when I actually talked to the experts to say, how would you go and test your work in IgG? And they said, we've never, ever, you have to have the DNA. Like, we tell you to go get this person's DNA and go grab a cigarette or go grab whatever, and then we're going to compare it to what we have. We've never done it where we're taking random trash that could have been handled by multiple family members and we don't know who's what, but we've never done that. We've never done that. And I just was like, oh, interesting. Whew. They did it in less than, we're talking like 6, 7. We're talking like less than 10 hours. Why wouldn't they go to his office first? Pennsylvania? You would do a lot of things. You're telling me that they couldn't. I mean, this guy is supposed to be grading papers. You know how many times you like lick and then like go to like the next page or something? You would just ask any of those students that he had, hey, did you keep any of the graded papers that the guy gave you? Can we get those? I mean, I just... Do you know that they lied and said they lost? They had like $1 million truck on Kohlberger, and they lied and said that they didn't have eyes on him. Why would you lie about that? And you don't think that that's eventually gonna, like, you're gonna get caught? Like, that's why they were able to get those historical data, like, on his. I'm like, what the fuck? Ooh. It's called an airplane, right? That's what you would think. You still have to bring it. Like, who got it? I have all the paperwork. So just wait till this comes out. Wait till this chain of custody comes out on the trash. It's gonna be amazing. According to Bloom, they had I don't give a fuck what plane they had. Who did it? Who's the chain there? It's your case. Didn't you go to, like, Payne? Nobody who from Idaho went to Pennsylvania to, like, who's briefing anybody? How is the briefing happening? We're using Zoom. Like, hey guys, we have a Zoom. Let's all get in here. All right, guys, go read the papers, man. And you know who's just as corrupt as Idaho State Police is Pennsylvania State Police. They don't use body cams. There's not going to be one body cam on any of that shit that took place in Pennsylvania with the Pennsylvania State Police. God, they are the worst. Any Commonwealth state can just fucking piss up a tree. According to Bloom, he sounds like he knows what happened better than anyone else. You know what's crazy is that why are the Gonsalveses pissed off at Bloom? Bloom's over here like saying that Brian Kohlberger did it. And you would think that the Gonsalveses would be like supporting Bloom. And you want to know why they're not? Because they didn't get a cut of the money. Jesus Christ. I mean, why would the Gonsalveses have a damn issue with Bloom? Well, my sources tell me it's because of money. Because Mr. Gray called up Howard and was like, you paying me? Where's our cut? I don't know, go make a movie. Go write a book. Guarantee a lot of people will go buy it. Steve's good with words. Go write a book. You know when Steve said that he's prepared for skeletons to come out of the closet and he's prepared for whatever's about to come? Think about that in the title of this episode as well. It isn't over yet. FBI still may pull the rug. Oh, for sure. FBI pulls the rug, this case is out. FBI would have to out some people. It'll be very, very interesting. Basically, they have a choice. I believe the FBI has a choice. Either, like, this case can go away and we can preserve every other case that we've used cast in, or we get outed like crazy motherfuckers in this case in every case that we've ever used cast. And these people that have ever testified to cast that are involved in this case are going to get an appeal and win on their appeal to like have a new trial. Read between the lines, people. Santa Claus, literally, he got bent over the past couple hearings. Really, really bad. If you know this case really, really well, Santa Claus took an ass beating. And they did it all for money. Like, they didn't want to lose any enrollment. That's why they did what they did. And I think it'd be great. Everybody should boycott the fuck out of that school. But see, I like a lot of people that live in Moscow, and I don't want their community to suffer because I don't want, the people bring the economy up over there. I also don't think that two wrongs make a right. I just say expose the fuck out of what they did and make it so they don't ever do it again. That's how you handle it. Lana for president in Moscow. You guys, I wouldn't want to be president in Moscow. I wouldn't want to live there. I'm sorry, but I can't get down with idiots in charge. Common Core investigating. You guys, it's bad. I also think Ann Taylor can play this 5 different ways. But I think that a lot, if I'm right on the relationship that Maddie and Kaylee had, this opens up a whole different possibility for who could have possibly committed this crime. And I don't think I'm wrong. If I was in Vegas, I would think that I would have 3-to-1 odds. I wouldn't be the 100-to-1 horse. Can any of your work you're doing, Lana, be used to the defense in this case or in these cases because you sure have done your homework? Oh yeah, I mean, you know who I want to help out and I would love to work for is Jose Baez in the Shanna Gardner case, because that case really, really is interesting. Did you guys see Jose Baez's, that case is going to go crazy. It's going to go off. He did a press conference, and I've never seen a lawyer this fired up to call out a lead detective. He owned. It was like nobody's talking about it. It's just because there's so many other things that are popping off right now. But if there was somebody that I would want to do a timeline for and be involved in, I'd want to work for Jose Baez in him representing Shanna Gardner, because I think that whatever went down, same type of thing. The lead investigator did some fuckerage. I don't know if any of you guys know what I'm talking about, but look up Shanna Gardner, look up Jose Baez. It's Jacksonville Beach murder for hire case. It's fucking crazy. I'll be covering that case. I'll be covering that case if I'm not involved in that case. But Jose Baez is one of the most prepared defense attorneys in the country. He actually does like graphs, Excel sheets. Like, I just wish that Karen Reed's defense had more of a demonstrative exhibit for the jury to see everything laid out in the timeline that we've seen like microdots put out. I just think that everybody is like a visual learner nowadays because we're so techie that I really think that you need like an Excel spreadsheet or some type of demonstrative exhibit to walk your jurors through to get to point A to point Z. I think a lot of people have a hard time when you don't do that. I think they both liked each other at one point, and it was maybe like just like a fun thing, you know. But then you realize really quickly when things don't go the way that you want them to, you start realizing how much more of a feeling that you have, and I think it's one of the reasons that Kaylee had to move out. It's sad. You can't get medical records. Lana, can you get medical records over there? You're not going to be able to touch medical records. I don't think anybody needs medical records as far as interesting if the two people did seek medical attention for lacerations at the next town hospital. You're talking about patient intake to see if anybody that's not, you can get that if you're the defense. You can't get that being just an average citizen. Let's see what we have here. Going anywhere in Idaho would be like getting trapped in Jumanji. Yeah, isn't that the truth? Oh, fucking Idaho. Well, I'm going to try it again. Hopefully Allie Erickson doesn't call the fucking popo on me. Oh my God, true story. Allie Erickson fucking interviewed Dylan Tallman. From the Chris Watts case, I about fell out of my chair. I didn't even listen to it, but I just saw the headlines and I about died. So yeah. So yeah, back on the Idaho4 train. What else? Kaylee's sister was arrested for domestic violence. That's really, really interesting. And just to be clear, she was arrested in Idaho in Kootenai County. And in domestic cases, if something happens and the cops have to come out, somebody's getting arrested. So that's how that works. So, and the person that got arrested was her. Lana, that would mean Jack S should be cleared. I don't think Jack S has anything to do with this. I think I could pin Jack S down. I don't think Jack S has a damn thing to do with this. Not a single damn thing. I am from PA, and PSP are corrupt as hell. They sure are. I am going to cover the Sandra Birchmore case. I've been actually working on it this past weekend. I'm going to be interviewing and having on my channel the woman that runs her Facebook page. She's going to come on the channel because I really want to talk about the case in terms of the civil case and how the civil case, which was a wrongful death case, how it actually led to uncovering the fact that it was a homicide versus them trying to label it as a suicide. But I want to show you guys some of the police reports in the Sandra Birchmore case and how Canton Police Department, they're going down for that case as well. They're just, all these people are sick. Question, we seriously believe the Coeur d'Alene SWAT and law enforcement hub was caused by leaky? I have no idea what that means. Idaho is beautiful. I've been there. It's so beautiful. I wish that it was as beautiful with the people inside and outside as it is around there. And people in Idaho are afraid to speak out. People in Idaho are like, if you speak out, then they come for you. In the Moore Drake case. All right. I was going to say this for Wednesday night. Let me just tell you something. In the Moore Drake case, Dr. Drake was murdered. His family, to include his son, was really good friends with the McKennas. The McKennas are really good friends with Kaylee Gonsalves's family. So the Drakes and the McKennas and the Gonsalveses. The McKennas link the Drakes and the Gonsalveses. Heart of the City Church in Coeur d'Alene. Can't make it up. Wild. You know that Kaylee worked at the coffee shops, and one of them was called Jitters, and Dr. Drake always was up at those coffee shops. And rumor has it that Dr. Drake, Brian Drake, and his wife, possibly both or one of them, was CI. Woo! You heard it here first. I don't believe rumors. I want receipts. Who's talking about rumors? There ain't no rumors. Go look on fucking social media. Look up Instagram. Look up Kaylee's Instagram. Look up Steve Gonsalves's Instagram and Facebook. Look up the McKennas, and then look up the Drakes and the McKenna family. The fuck are you talking about? Rumors. I'm telling you where to go get your receipts. All I do is bring receipts. Oh, I would love. Okay, we got a divorce case, Lana. I may need you on my divorce case, girl. It depends. Divorces are wild. Lots of lies up in there. Elsie, let me know on the case. Because in my emails, I'll tell you right away if I can help or if I can't. I need to have a discovery to help anybody. If you have a discovery, I can help you. If you don't have a discovery, I can't help you. Twizzle, you like how you can use your regular name in here now? What? Twizzle, are you going to come out and hang out? Don't you be stalking people. Oh, hell yeah, I'm covering the Sandra Birchmore case. All those fucking assholes in Canton that have been doing some fucked up shit, they need to go down. Dude, they groomed the shit out of that girl. They were passing her around like she was, I can't even it's going to make me barf. But I have the complaint, the answer, then the amended complaint, and some of it's so hard to read. Having sex with 13 and 15-year-olds, cops, and then openly sharing the fact that you're doing it and asking her to have sex with other people in the department. And this was a person that came out of the Explorers Police youth program. You sick fucks. What's so crazy is that you would look at, it's so easy to look at the surveillance camera and see that fat fucking slob walk up in that motherfucker with his mask on and his sloppy ass, and is literally in her apartment, then leaves. And you know what these assholes tried to say was that it was the guy that was looking at apartments that was her friend because he wanted to move in there. That's how they tried to cover for that slob. And it's just like, dude, whatever happened to the dads that if a kid, you know, these dads, if you ever mess with people's daughters, like these dads, like I'm just surprised we don't hear about more cases where dads just rip people's fucking dicks off and shove them down their fucking throats. You know, it's unfortunate. But I would love to cover a case where a dad ripped off somebody's dick and shoved it down someone's throat that fucked with their kid. That's what I would love to see. Sorry, I just had to say that. I'm just surprised we don't see more cases like that. Sorry, that was really graphic, but you know what I'm talking about. Like you hear about dads all the time saying that, oh, when you gonna come and date my daughter or take her to prom or take her to homecoming if you do this or that, or, you know, it's like girls are getting raped and murdered. Where are these dads? I would be blowing off dicks, you know, touching my kid. Like, fuck you. So now watch this. They're going to be like, oh my God, Lana was over here saying people should blow off dicks. Those of you guys that are listening to me while you're falling asleep, you're like, I just woke up and I heard Lana talking about blowing off dicks. Yep, sure did. All you dads are just talk. All you Chad dads out there. Fucking Karen dads. I make a live and it's Lana saying rip someone's dick. What is up, Shauna? Where you been, girl? I've been waiting to see your name in chat. All right. Hot Ham's like, no, man, everybody loves it. They agree with you. Love it. The Richard's like, oh, I'll get involved in that shit. You know what else? Sally, there aren't very many dads left anymore. Says, oh my God, let me tell you something. One of my favorite days being in Canton was when I got to hang out with Draw Latina. I had so much fun. Like, you know, when you get to like finally like actually like I like to meet people in person. I embrace it. And so me and Dr. Latina, we got to do dinner. And even though I was like, literally, that's when I was like getting sick. I loved it. She's amazing. And I'm so glad that you're still awake listening to this rant. So give love to, that was one of my favorite nights there. I don't know if you guys know this, but like, I swear, I think all of the mods of my channel live in Boston. But we had like a little mod in a Dr. Latina convention, and it was great. And then Boston ran out of gas, but are you listening, Boston? Why don't they hire you? They can't afford me. Oh, speaking of which, let me tell you something. The fucking Republican Party. Oh, thank you, Patty, for the Cash App. The Republican Party. Let me get this straight. I want to say it right. This is hilarious. There's a guy that is the chair of the local Republican Central Committee in Idaho, in the Boundary County, like in Bonners Ferry. And I shared because I wanted people like, hey, you might want to check out this video. It's about these cops framing a doctor, and it's so obvious, and yada, yada, yada. Dude, these people in this Facebook group, I'm not in Facebook groups. It was shared there. These people in this Facebook group went fucking ape shit today, to the point, to like the extent of this guy who is literally the Republican Dave W-E-N-K Lenk is the chair to the local Republican Central Committee. He works at the weed department, but seems to live in $1 million home and is always out of town. He has been a part of so much controversy on supporting left-leaning candidates during election, even though he is voted to represent Republican values. So much more, but, you know, because he commented when I wrote to share my video, this one lady was like, Lana, could you please give me a brief summary of this? And I'm like, it's just outlining that somebody was framed for a murder. And here's Dave Wink saying, this is all bullshit. And I said, oh, really, Dave Wink? If you think so, take the link and I would love to hear your fucking opinion. And then I had the police assistant chief, his wife or wife's sister, wrote me and said that all I do is drink twisted tea and talk about cases that make no sense. I'm like, I don't even know who you are. But I said, once again, take a link, get up here, honey. So I lit her ass up. I actually put her in my community post because I thought it was amazing. I was like, you guys claim to be Republicans, but you guys are a bunch of fucking dumbasses. I said, dear Assistant Police Chief Garrett, are you claiming the homie below that wrote this ridiculous post? P.S. Garrett, you weren't even involved with the police department in 2020, so why are you so mad? Or your rogue tongue muscle is mad. I'll make it easy for you. Answer my call, and then you can explain to me why Sugar Tits is beyond jealous over my ability to show the unit or the police unit for not doing their job while I sip on twisted teas. Just to make sure no one cries, we can chat over a twisted tea. I'll be sure to send Sugar Tits a twisted tea. But I would love to debate you in the Dr. Moore, Dr. Drake case. I'm sure that just ruffled some feathers. So if the Republicans want to talk, I think it's funny because you have no idea who I vote for. I think it's funny when people try to peg me and my fucking political views. I hate politics. So if those of you that are out there in Bonner's Ferry want to talk to me about the Dr. Drake, Dr. Moore case, let me know. Because all I did was show crime scene photos today to show the world that the Idaho State Police tried to pass off a shot that was actually taken inside of a room. They tried to literally pass it off that it was taken outside in. And they did it in the most first grade level way possible. So, Steph, I'm so glad that you're Republican. You know what I am? I am independent and I vote for people that actually have I vote on the issue. So, like I'm going to vote for Trump. Watch me. You want to know why? Because if Bill Clinton can fuck Monica Lewinsky, then Donald Trump could talk about pussy. That's why. Take that to the bank. Quote me on it. How long ago was that when Bill Clinton was running? And people were trying, is that, Deanna's loving it. She's like, oh my God, I'm dying. Lana's voting for Trump because Bill Clinton could fuck Monica Lewinsky and talk about a cigar. And so why can't Trump talk about pussy? I mean, Jesus Christ. I want to keep our money in motherfucking United States of America. But you know what? I just when a felon gets fucking elected. Woo! Oh, shit. I'm fucking get out of here. Do you guys know at the same time that the Karen Reed case was going on, people were emailing me saying, Lana, are you watching the presidential something or other? And I'm like, are you out of your fucking mind? I said no. and then I'm like, why are you asking? Oh my God, because it's amazing. And it's just like, it's wild. And I'm just like, I can't even. So, but I say, listen, I like all Cleveland teams. That's how I feel about politics. You like Pittsburgh, I like Cleveland. But guess what? We both like football. Guess what? We both like basketball. Guess what? We both like sports. Can we just go with that? Um, uh, oh, there's good. At Truth, oh my God, you're the first person I've heard in a long time that actually said that they vote for the actual issues, not the party. Oh, hell yeah. I'm going to tell you what we really need to be voting for. We need to vote for our goddamn local judges. Do you guys understand what a judge truly has the ability to do? Everybody wants to, who are you voting for the president? Fuck our president. I want to know who the fuck is my damn judges that I'm locally like up against. You know what I mean? Like, we can't have dumbasses as judges. Like, do you know how intertwined judges are with like lawyers? Because who do you think is backing these judges to get voted in? The fucking lawyers. This is why it's a sick, twisted game. Like literally when we had government class in 9th grade, we should have all not have skipped school and we should have went to that class. Government class literally is the most underrated class in high school. We're all over here skipping government class, okay, because we're over here thinking that, all right, we just need to know that it's local district. No, dude, we needed to go to that class because our judges voting local, how do you think these idiots get up to where they get up to? It's because they're slithering themselves in locally. And then the next thing you know, they're going a little further and going a little further. But if we just clip their nuts at the local level, they can't slither themselves through anything. But we need to really worry about our local judges. I'm telling you. Like, fuck, a president can't do shit without having the House and the Senate. President just is, they're just our mainstream media mouthpiece. Like, just follow them on Twitter. Like, remember when being on the debate team was like not cool? And now here everybody wants to watch Trump and Biden debate, and maybe we might need some flashcards for that. But it's just funny how the world works, you know? And I'm sorry, but there's a lot of things that can happen in life, but mailing in your vote can't be one of those things, okay? Come on, man. That's like a teacher. That's like you going to school in college and saying, listen, I'm going to mail in my test and I'm just going to have fucking sweet Susie over here take it, but I'm going to mail it into you and you're going to pass me and I'm going to get an A. So I have an issue with that. I have an issue because then you're going to let me mail in my test and I'm going to have sweet Susie take it. And that's just going to be it. And there's nothing you're going to say. Because if I can mail in my goddamn vote, I'm going to mail in my test. Can you imagine that? Lana, why didn't you go to school today? Why didn't you go take your test? I did. I mailed it in. You did? Okay. You're going to fail me? I mailed my test in. Come on, man. I'm sorry, but we're not going to steal the votes from all of these elderly people. That is elder abuse, and that's illegal. You know, I sent my taxes in the mail. Well, that's just dumb. You should have paid online. You would have got those returns a hell of a lot faster. It's just, you know. Oh, shit. I just laugh. Oh, the other thing that we need to vote for is our district attorneys. You guys know we can make sure that certain district attorneys aren't district attorneys. You always know what a district attorney is? That's the prosecutor. Okay? Oh, great response to Garrett. You like that? That assistant police chief? I lit his ass up. Fuck him. She's just jealous of my twisted teas. Well, I took you guys to 2 hours and 20 minutes. And I only took it this long because I just felt like you guys all wanted to talk about the Idaho4 case as long as possible. Because they're like, Lana, well, it's been so long. Well, we have to make sure that Karen Reed doesn't get fucking framed for murder, man. What a bunch of fucking idiots in Norfolk County. Dude, Jesus. If Karen Reed can't even be found not guilty, how the fuck is Brian Culver going to be able to be found not guilty with these idiots? Oh, shit. You guys, pay attention to who the district attorney is. That's who decides whether a case is prosecuted or not. Okay? Like, why are some of these cases even moving forward? District attorneys. We need defense attorneys to become district attorneys. If you have a good district attorney, your corruption goes way down. Because it's like whatever you're doing as a police officer, you have to bring me the case and I have to say like, yeah, we're going to go forward and we're going to pursue that type of a charge. Like I'm actually going to look at your work and I'm going to say, what the fuck is this? I'm not prosecuting this case. Are you out of your fucking mind? This case is circumstantial as fuck, but not only that, but you have eyewitnesses all contradicting themselves and you have da-da-da-da-da-da-da. Like, but when you have a district attorney that's just going to bend over and take it up the ass because they owe people favors, then you're going to get royally fucked left and right. And that's what I see Moscow. Moscow just seems like a bend over and take it because you owe everybody a fucking favor. So that's where we're at. Actually, I read Paul O'Keefe's text messages with Turtle Boy, and I can't even feel bad for that man. I can't even feel bad for that man. How he could let the McCabe's sit next and behind him and Colin Albert and him think that Colin Albert's not a liar and didn't commit perjury on the stand and that he said, no, I don't get in fights. Nope, never been in a fight. Nope, nope, nope. And then all these videos surface of him literally playing grab ass in the locker room like a little fucking tulip. Like, that's how little he thought. Why would it be a big deal that you fought ever? Why wouldn't you say, hell yeah, I've been in fights? I couldn't even tell you how many. People probably recorded them. Why would you need to lie about that? If John O'Keefe was hit by a fucking car, why does it matter that this kid got in fights? Think about that. Think about how bad that looks for you. That you're committing perjury for a case where somebody got hit by a car. That's delusional. Like, I would say, yeah, I fought, I spit on people, I just did whatever I want, and I still do whatever I want. Anything else? Oh, was I at that house? No. Why would I be fighting with a 40-year-old man? I was 17. I don't care if I was at the house at that time. Yeah, I was there. Who gives a shit? The amount of defending that went on in that case by the prosecutor for witnesses, I've just never seen something like that in my life. So it's very interesting if Bill Thompson's going to have to defend Dylan and Bethany that way in the case with Brian Kohlberger, because it's like, you didn't call 911, and when you woke up, you still didn't call 911. Somebody else had to come to the house to call 911. Bill Thompson's going to have to defend Bethany and Dylan the way that Lally defended Colin Albert and Jen McCabe. But I would just be saying, yeah, I fought with everybody. Who gives a shit? You know, John O'Keefe was hit by a car, right? These people lying about stuff they say has nothing, that doesn't matter. Like, he wasn't beat up. So why does it matter that my knuckles are all bloody the day after? Why does it matter that I fight? just like, I don't know. Wow. I think if someone like Cyree takes a stand and says, after all the evidence is out there, and says that there's all this exculpatory and that Brian was somewhere else, and that you're able to show that the state lied, it's not some this isn't a they didn't conspire. This is about money, and that's how I would make it. I would make it about money. I'd make it about tuition, enrollment. I wouldn't make it about people conspired to frame Brian. It wasn't like that. It was, this was about money. All right, guys. Cyree will say then MPD will say, oh, oops. No, because they brought in the FBI. It doesn't matter what MPD says. The FBI and Cyree are going to be going. That's who's going to be going at it. I don't think people understand that. The FBI is who endorsed what Moscow Police Department went and asked them. And so that there was FBI agents that endorsed this. So either FBI agents are going to have to throw Moscow Police Department under the bridge, or FBI agents are going to have to out the fact that CAST is shit, and a bunch of people are going to get appeals. That's what's about to happen. Oh, I saw somebody say, like, what about absentee ballots? Let me just tell you about absentee ballots. If I know that I'm going out of town, I still take my happy ass up to wherever I'm going to vote. And it's just like if I have to get on a plane, they scan me. They see that I am who I am with my iris. And then I get to put my vote in. Like, I get to vote before everybody else because I'm going out of the country. But absentee ballots, like, it's just like, I'm going to vote. I'm still going to go to the, how about this? The way that the world should be working is, why can't I vote in a different county if I'm on vacation? You're telling me we don't have the technology that in the booth that we go into, that we're hitting the county that we live in, where we pay taxes, and that we're able to think about that. But if I knew I was going out of town, I would just go wherever I'm going to vote and do it. I just think everybody has an excuse for everything. And it's like, come on, guys, this is like the one thing that we have to show up for. You know, I'm sorry, but I don't want Pablo voting for Lana Oriani. I want Lana Oriani voting for Lana Oriani. I want my fucking vote. I want my vote. Just like if you miss like your picture day at school, like you missed picture day, then you weren't in the yearbook. Show up for picture day. There's always just an excuse, man. I'm fucking tired of fucking 10th place trophies. You know, if you fucking suck, you suck. Go find something else that you're good at. And these parents just telling their kids that they're fucking good at shit, like, oh my God, blow my fucking head off. Your kid sucks. Listen, your kid sucks, but guess what? They're probably good at something else, but well, how about you help them find that? You know, just don't keep lying to them. The girl can't do a cartwheel. You know, maybe that's just not her thing. But she's a hell of an artist, you know? Get her in art school. For fuck's sake. Everyone's gonna be like, damn, Lana was just calling it as she saw it today. You know, and sometimes, you know, it's just, I don't know. What about the person that gets in a car accident and they're in a coma and they didn't get to vote, you know? Things happen. It's life. You don't get to just cry about it and make new fucking rules. Jesus Christ. I don't know. Hey, Truth and Transparency, you're on point tonight. Yeah. I think it's the Karen Reed case that made me just realize that, Jesus, we are surrounded by fucking morons, man. Miss Potts, remember I said I was like, if I was the foreman of the Karen Reed jurors, like, I don't even know how, like, I'd have to say, listen, guys, everybody's opinion matters here, and I have to validate all of your opinions. But if we have all of these opinions on what we think could have possibly happened that night, then kind of doesn't that go with the whole, like, reasonable doubt? Because if you have reasonable possibilities, and there's reasonable doubt as to what they're saying. So then we would have to vote not guilty, because reasonable doubt means that that's what you do. You vote not guilty. We don't get to just have a hung jury because we all have 4 different opinions of what we think happened that night. What that means is that, you guys, you see all of our opinions? This totally could have happened. That means it's reasonable, right? So what they're saying, we could have reasonable doubt to what they're saying because we think that this could be possible. So that means that we have to check this box right here, which says not guilty. That's what that means. Instead, Canton and Norfolk County residents, they think what that means is just to be that we're going to be hung jury because we have some people that believe this and some people that believe this and some people that believe that. And do you understand that I don't know how we would have to no longer use our justice system if everybody looked at life like the Norfolk County jurors did. Just saying. Like, I would have been in that room like, what the fuck are you talking about, man? There was no evidence logs. Like, this evidence just showed up on the 14th of March. In the murder that we're discussing here was on January 29th. Like, where was this evidence being held at for all these days? I would have been like, I don't even know. Can you truly believe that people were in that room saying that she's guilty? But guilty of what? 2 experts said from not either side. Like, FBI came in and were like, there is no way this man was hit by a car. If you can't fuck all after that point, like, dude, we have no idea. Was he hit by a car? Was he ate by a dog? Was he beat in the face? Holy shit. But then the Emmy says that it was undetermined. Like, we don't know if this was an accidental death. We don't know if this was a homicide. And here these jurors just took it upon themselves to say, we don't know. Like, fuck. Oh my God. I would have been like, can we all take a vote? How many people in here have kids? Let me see your hands. Okay. Picture your kid right there being accused of this. And y'all want to convict your kid off of all the shit that we just saw in this motherfucker. Okay, now let's vote. Innocent or guilty? If it's your kid that we're putting behind bars for the rest of their life off of this shit. Get out of here. Like, just wild, man. Woo. Oh shit. I'm sorry, but I gave Alan Jackson a 10.0 on his pirouette. I think he should join Dancing with the Stars for the comeback season. Is Dancing with the Stars still a thing? So you guys are all great. I love y'all. Fireworks are coming in the Idaho4 case. It's been laying low. Anytime mainstream media lays low, it's because they're getting annihilated. Everything they've said about the case, they're all wrong. They've been giving praise to corruption, to horrible. You can call it corruption. You can just call it incompetency. I think it kind of goes hand in hand, because you know what happens when there's incompetency. Then you become corrupt when you try to like make something else. So it kind of goes hand in hand. But when mainstream media is quiet like they are with the Brian Kohlberger case, I haven't read Bloom's book. What else was out there? I'm trying to get all your guys' questions. Honestly, it's weird that the Gonsalveses wouldn't be on the Bloom train if it was so, Brian Kohlberger did it. It's really weird. I think Christy just spoke out about that she thinks it's sick. They want this to be over so that it's not talked about anymore. Well, so maybe they're, I would be like, I want the truth. They said that they have to wait like everybody else to get the truth. So I think Steve Gonsalves has been lied to like a motherfucker. And I'd be so pissed if I was him, but he's playing coddle the wife in interviews. That's what the mode he's in. So also, if they're going to stream the trial, I don't know if the Gonsalveses or any families are actually going to show up to the courthouse. Would you show up to the courthouse? I don't know. If it's just being streamed, would you just like watch it in the comfort of your own home? Like, I don't know. I mean, we know the Chapins aren't going to watch it. They haven't attended anything, but they go to CrimeCon. Very strange. I don't know what's going on with Xana's parents. It was Xana's birthday the other day. I think Xana's somebody that I would have been friends with. Like, just fucking doesn't give a fuck. She's an athlete, very talented. And then just like someone that's just like a friend, like wants to make other people laugh. And I don't know. I could vibe with Xana. I would never be in any sorority though, so I would have jokingly said you guys have to pay for friends to them. But how anybody could just pick a random house and go in a house and just start stabbing people, that's absolutely fucking like there's, how do you as a human being defend yourself against that? I don't care if your door was locked or unlocked. Someone's getting in your house. So, like, I think if parents are out there and they see that their kids are off their rocker a little bit, maybe they need to get their kids some help. Pay attention to your kids. Play with your kids. I don't know. Sad. You know that serial killers, they don't know their victims that they kill, like the majority of them. So it's interesting if Brian Kohlberger would have just randomly picked this house. And in here he doesn't know them at all. And It's just sad. I think I would go in person. I don't think I would watch it on stream. But can you imagine, like, 3 months, you'd go every day for 3 months? And then depending on if this case got moved, it could get moved anywhere, right? And I mean, I think it should get moved. I don't know if it will. Now, the next month, YouTube creators will be discussing whether KG and MM were intimate with each other. Wow, well done. Great investigating. Oh yeah, everybody watches my channel. Then this gives them content about the Idaho4 case for the next week. That's damn true. And some of them will use it for the next month. You're absolutely right. Thank you, Renee. I appreciate that. Oh, 7 months. Woo, almost baby time. Wait, let me give you a little ring. There you go. Anything else? I feel like I want to give it all up to all of you guys. Oh, wait. 5 memberships. Look at 10 membership. You were just making everybody go green today. Look at this. Look at this, DFC. Lady Di, what's up? Look at this. I love when I see everybody green. And I do apologize for the delay. I was in the middle of covering a boat. Lana's more trustworthy than a lawyer. Lawyers, man, they're not trustworthy. I don't know if that's saying much. Patty, what is good? 9-month baby. This case will be precedent, no doubt about that. I do think so. Kim, Crime Land 1122, Queen of True Crime, Twisted Tea sounds like mad haters hating. I love it. Clinton, I did not have sexual relations with that woman. Trump, you're wrong. All I know is I vote on the issues. Renee, there we go. And the Richard, glad to see you and feel your energies back to 100. Oh, fuck yeah, I love to bring it. I'll talk about this case or any case that I cover. I'll debate it all day. I don't think that you could prove that Brian Kober is guilty beyond a reasonable doubt. And I think that a lot of things should be suppressed. If I was Ann Taylor, I would stop stipulating and I would make Judge start writing up the orders. And I would think long and hard based off of the Karen Reed case, going the route and letting evidence come in because you're putting in the hands of jurors that are fucking dumb. And so based off of the Karen Reed case, I think you need to think about suppressing shit. Don't let people see stuff that they don't have to see because they don't get it. Like, they don't understand procedure. They don't understand that, you have to do A to B. And for whatever reason, people out there think that cops are Jesus Christ. And that's just a complex that people need to get over because it's so not true. Especially when I hear cops say, I became a cop because I didn't want to go to college. Awesome. Awesome, man. That's why I want you protecting me. Fuck out of here. I want you to be a cop because it's something that you've always wanted to. It's like your dream. You know what? If you think it drives you crazy, you should imagine what it does to me. Twizzle. Twizzle. Twizzle, your map's outdated. I'll get you a new one with the cell towers. Let's see. Fuck that beep. You know what? I'm interested to see if if that gets brought up at all in the case. I don't think it will. Sleep well tonight. I will. Thank you so much. Oh, Miss Potts, hope you have a great night. I waited just for you, and you got off of work so that you could hear this live. Tom Campbell, member for 1 month. Tom, it's about damn time. Tom, great job ripping dicks off and twisted tees. Ah, shit. Oh my God. You guys want to end on something funny? Okay. I'm just going to show you how Idaho arrested a woman. And there's body cam of it. But this isn't just any old woman. This is a woman that was running the senior center. And she was outing the Idaho State Police and the local law enforcement and the sheriff's department in their corruption by drug running and killing people. Do you guys want to see this? This woman hit me up. She texted me and called me. And then she got thrown in jail and is facing 5 years because she threatened to punch the prosecutor. But I looked into all of her shit. She ain't lying about a couple things. That's for damn sure. Do you guys want to see this body cam? Here. I'm going to play it for you guys. We'll go out with a bang. I think you guys will like it. This is just typical Idaho. Oh, yeah, perfect. There we go. All right. Here we go. She was talking about human trafficking. She was talking about
Oh, I can get one for you.
Okay, may I see your driver's license, registration, insurance, please?
this is in Boundary County.
Probably not. It's probably in my other purse. I just got back up here, so
Okay.
I don't have it on me.
This guy
Don't
asked
have
for
that on you.
My wallet.
Okay.
license and registration. She
You
was
don't have a driver's license with you? Do you actually have a license to drive?
Are you kidding me?
I ask
Are you
people that.
joking?
No, I'm not. I ask people that all the time if they don't have a license on them.
I have a
So-
license to drive.
Okay, just checking.
And you were sitting there waiting for quite some time.
I was watching traffic. What's your last name, miss?
Oh, you don't know?
No, I don't know you. Your name is?
Oh, you don't know who I am?
M-I-S-H-A?
Yeah.
What's your birthday, Misha? And what's your middle name?
Ray.
R-A-E or R-A-Y? What's your home address, Misha?
I don't have one because I'm only up here volunteering.
Again, miss, I don't know who you are, so I don't know what you're doing.
Meaning,
You make it sound like it's obvious I know why you're up here.
weren't you told you're supposed to watch the senior center?
We're checking to make sure things are okay all over the city. What are you specifically talking about?
No.
Okay. Do you have the registration for the vehicle?
No, I don't have my wallet with me.
Usually the registration is kept in the vehicle.
Well, no, did you hear me? Like, I just moved up here to volunteer at the senior center
Why would that prevent having a registration in the vehicle,
because
miss?
I've been on the go everywhere. I don't have everything.
Okay.
Things are in storage.
Okay. Do you have insurance on the vehicle?
Should, yeah.
You should. That's not a yes or a no. Do you actually have insurance? If you're,
How long were you sitting there waiting for me to leave?
I've been watching traffic light. I
Actually,
just
you were
answered your
sitting
question.
behind the building when I came out to the car with my dog.
No, actually I wasn't.
Actually, you were.
Okay, I'm not
I
going to
watched
argue.
you pull
Miss, I'm not going to argue with you. I'm asking for information. Do you have insurance on the vehicle?
I should.
That's not a yes or a no. It's a should. Can you pull it up on your phone or do you have proof with you?
No.
Okay.
This is fucking great. This is so good right here. Wait for it. Another officer comes up. Here we go. Bonner's Fury. Let's go.
So what is the address on your license, miss?
Excuse me?
What is the address on your driver's
I
license?
don't give my address.
Well, you're going to get a citation.
I don't
I'm
give
gonna
my.
call Kramer
Go ahead.
and let him know that you
Please.
sat there waiting to pull me over the second I pulled
Miss
off.
Davis, I'm not here to argue with you. If you want to make a phone call, you go right ahead. But you still need to provide the information you are supposed to for a citation.
For
Are
a
you,
citation
are you,
for what? You sat
are
there
you refusing
stalking.
to do that?
Actually, no, but you sat there stalking, waiting for me to leave, and immediately.
Miss,
pulled
I'm
me
not here
over.
to argue. If you want to argue
No,
in the
but
court,
were
you can do
looping,
that.
Waiting for me to
You're
leave.
arguing with me.
No,
I'm not
you
here
were
to do
sitting
that.
there looping, waiting for me to leave. I
No.
sat there watching you. Do you want to see the
She's
security
not wrong.
cameras?
Go ahead.
She's not
But we're
wrong.
not there right now. So if you want to pull it up some
No,
other
instead
time, you go ahead.
just immediately jumped to pull me over.
Again, miss, what is the address on your driver's license?
I don't know.
You don't know. Okay. Hang tight here. I'll
I
back
don't
in a
know.
minute.
This is, dude. I'm telling you, there's nothing wrong with this. Like, I don't know. I don't know. Wait, there's a reason that she's saying this though. She doesn't want to give up her address because these people were trying to like find where she was living. Look at, wait, right there. Hold on one second. Look at this. This guy gets in the vehicle. Watch this. Is this cut? Watch this. He gets in the vehicle. Watch this. Now, what's he gonna do? Now, watch. You see that? They cut the video. They cut the video. This body cam was cut. Okay. Now, here it gets
Okay, Miss
good.
Davis, do you have anything that shows who you are? By the name you provided me, Misha Ray Davis. There's no record of.
Oh, you know who the hell I am. You guys
Miss,
run
have
me
I ever met you before?
You guys run me
Have
out of
I ever
fucking
met you
town
before?
Every time I'm here.
Have I ever
am
met
on
you?
your radar.
Have I ever
am
met
on
you?
your
You're not
radar.
answering my question.
I
I
am
have
on-
never met you.
Doesn't matter. You know damn well who I am.
No, I don't.
You do too.
Do you have anything
You know
on you
damn
that?
well who I
Miss,
am.
I'm trying to prevent you taking you to jail for failed carrying display license.
And then I'll let Julian know.
I don't know who Julian is.
Judge Julian?
Oh,
Judge
I
Julie?
met him once.
Good Lord. Just so you know, I'm in a freaking witness protection program. I have been gang
I
stalked.
don't really care.
Listen,
We're not
I'm
dealing
gonna
with that
tell
right now.
you.
I don't care.
Then you should probably listen.
No, you need to provide your information to me. If you don't
Then
do
go
that,
to the freaking
no,
office.
we're here. I'm not moving away from this location.
Who is this
Would you
shit?
like to go in handcuffs in my car, or you want to provide
Who
me the
put you up to
information
this?
that I need?
Alonzo? Did Alonzo put you up to this? Schumann?
Miss,
Who put you up to this? Who put you up to
okay,
this?
we're about ready to have a
Who
problem
put
here.
you up to this? Who put you up to this? Are you not aware what the hell's going on at the senior
No,
center?
I'm not.
At the senior center, she's
No, I don't read social media or anything else like
he
that.
runs the senior
You're
center.
gonna get me fucking shot. For the love of fucking God.
Great.
Do you not know what's going on with the feds and everything over at the senior center?
No.
I'm
Feds.
trying to be an incognito.
The
What are you
feds.
doing? What are you doing?
Writing down the VIN on this.
So go over to the fucking office.
No, we're not leaving this location.
My
No.
wallet
Do you
is
understand? No.
there. Do you understand my wallet's in there?
Well, you should have had it with you. Okay, we're here now.
Oh my God, who is putting you up to this? There is bigger crime to be fighting than a fucking plate off of a car.
Wait.
Stand by.
You're literally gonna get me killed.
Hey, stop!
What is? Look at these.
You really don't know what's going on, do you?
No, I don't know you, miss. I've already told you that a half dozen times.
So I ratted out your local drug cartel, the Naumanns, and Detective Mac told me to get the fuck out of town, and I've had to live off grid for the last couple years because of the death threats. You can ask Sheriff Kramer. I've had to go into.
Wait, you guys, listen to what she says. Let me tell you something. She is not lying. Listen to what she's saying right here. Listen to this. I'm telling you, this woman may be a lot of things, but I've checked into everything that she says. She's not lying. Listen to this part.
You, miss. I've already told you that a half dozen times.
So I ratted out your local drug cartel, the Naumanns, and Detective Mac told me to get the fuck out of town, and I've had to live off grid for the last couple years because of the death threats. You can ask Sheriff Kramer. I've had to go into.
That doesn't have anything to do with right now.
It actually does, because I just got done taking down Ben Appo and a bunch of other people for the corruption over at the
Ben Appo is the president of the scene. I mean, this is wild. She is name dropping. She just says that She's the one that ratted out the drug cartel, which she did, the Naumanns, Jasper Naumann. And that's exactly what they do. They run the fucking drugs in that town. I have them on camera. She is not lying. They were fucking literally stalking her to try to get the address of where she was staying. And they followed her out of the senior rec center right here.
You don't know what's going on, do you?
No, I don't know you, miss. I've already told you that half dozen times.
So I ratted out your local drug cartel, the Naumanns, and Detective Mac told me to get the fuck out of town, and I've had to live off grid for the last couple of years because of the death threats. You can ask Sheriff Kramer. I've had to go into witness
That doesn't have
protection
anything
more
to do
than
with right
once.
now.
It actually does, because I just got done taking down Ben Appo and a bunch of other people for the corruption over at the senior center, and the whole thing's under investigation.
Okay.
All the fucking
But
feds.
we're here right now, and I'm not going to call the feds. 'Cause I won't get through the feds. We're going to deal with the traffic stop right here and right now.
You literally stalked me. You sat there driving around the block, and you were stalking the center. I watched you drive behind, and then you parked across the street
Miss,
waiting for me to
do
leave.
not move your vehicle anymore. You
literally
understand
sat
me?
there waiting for
Do
me
you
to leave.
understand me?
I do. Write
Thank
the damn
you.
ticket so I
But
can please
I'm
go.
trying to get it done. But you've not given me the good
Demonstrate.
information to get it all done quickly.
Because I am trying
It doesn't matter
to
because
lay
I have
low
to get
so
my
I don't get
information.
killed. You guys
Put it
can
in
check
park,
your
shut
records.
the engine off, and wait.
You guys can check your records.
Put it in park, shut the engine off, and wait.
It's in park.
Good. Shut the engine off and wait.
Every time
Shut the engine off
I
and wait.
cannot disclose where I live because
Well, you're going to
I-
have to.
No. Ask Kramer. Absolutely fucking not. And he knows I have had to be in hiding. Sheriff Norris has had game stalkers stalking and harassing me, stole my fucking dog, beat my
Okay.
fucking dog,
Anyway.
giving it to Boundary County officers.
I'm not going to call the sheriff.
Call the sheriff.
Just give her the ticket and leave, you know? I got all the cameras. She's not lying. These
Hey, Miss
motherfuckers
Navarez.
stalking her.
Mac had me change up
Miss
my
Navarez, you're being issued to survey. You need to follow the information at the top. Here's your
There's like
information.
real crimes being committed, and this is what you're going after. Real crimes.
You have any other
There's
questions?
real
Not
crimes being
Questions?
committed.
Okay.
I feel
You're
sorry
free to
for
go.
you.
Thank you.
I know, and then I'm going to go down to Kramer and let
You go right ahead.
You could have done 1,000 other things today.
I love it, you guys. You could have done 1,000 other things right here. And this is what y'all did. You guys, did you hear her fucking call out the goddamn cartel here? That's the local cartel in Bonners Ferry. They were running the drugs. And guess what else she does? She tells them that she knows that they're human trafficking, sex trafficking, and that they covered up Brian Drake's murder. She was married to Jasper Naumann. Jasper Naumann was having people run their family drugs and working with the this cartel family that's up on the hill. And guess who was going there to give chiropractic visits to? Brian Drake.
You really don't know what's going on, do you?
No, I don't know you, miss. I've already told you that half dozen times.
So I ratted out your local drug cartel, the Naumanns, and Detective Mac told me to get the fuck out of town, and I've had to live off grid for the last couple of years because of the death threats. You can ask Sheriff Kramer. I've had to go into witness
That doesn't have
protection
anything
more
to do
than
with right
once.
now.
It actually does, because I just got done taking down Ben Appo and a bunch of other people for the corruption over at the senior center, and the whole thing's under investigation.
Okay.
All the fucking
But we're
feds.
here right now, and I'm not going to call the feds. 'Cause I won't get through the feds. We're going to deal with the traffic stop right here and right now.
You literally stalked me. You sat there driving around the block, and you were stalking the center. I watched you drive behind, and then you parked across the street
Miss,
waiting for me to
do
leave.
not move your vehicle anymore. You
literally
understand
sat
me?
there waiting for
Do
me
you
to leave.
understand
I
me?
do. Write
Thank
the damn
you.
ticket so I
But
can please
I'm
go.
trying to get it done. But you've not given me the good
Demonstrate.
information to get it all done quickly.
Because I am trying
It doesn't matter
to
because
lay
I have
low
to get
so
my
I don't get
information.
killed. You guys
Put it
can
in
check your
park, shut
records.
the engine off, and wait.
You guys can check your records.
Put it in park, shut the engine off, and wait.
It's in park.
Good. Shut the engine off and wait.
Every time
Shut the engine off
I
and wait.
cannot disclose where I live because
Well, you're going to
I-
have to.
No. Ask Kramer. Absolutely fucking not. And he
Okay, now watch this. Then I went and got something because she told me that she didn't feel safe. And then she literally gets arrested. She got arrested 3 times. Watch this. Then, well, watch this. I went back to a old
was pretty reasonable, so I would probably, instead of having it forced from me, I would probably volunteer some of my money to pay your salaries.
But that's the difference.
It's a cute mentality, but it.
You can't give me the right to be a human being. I'm wrong with that right. Now you can keep me from having that if you've got all the policemen and all the jobs on your side.
This is another video from our trip to the U.S.-Canadian border in Idaho. Bonners Ferry is roughly 30 miles from two different border crossings along the border with Canada and Idaho. On the way back from the Eastport border crossing, we decided to stop in Bonners Ferry and support a local business by grabbing a quick bite to eat. And while trying to find a place, I noticed a Hummer with the Boundary County Sheriff's logo on it, so we decided we better check it out. We put our desire to eat on hold and decided to get some footage of the local law enforcement detail. I didn't expect too many problems here, since this is one of the few counties where the sheriff has stood up against the orders Governor Brad Little has placed on anyone existing in the...
Okay, now watch this. I use this video because this is where they brought detainee Stephen Hartman with everything that was going on with the Brian Drake case. I want you to see this Honda Pilot right here. Look at this. I used this video and I was able to
We better check it out. We put our desire to eat on...
See right there? That's a Honda Pilot. You see that shit right there? Woohoo, daddy. A cop owns and drives a Honda Pilot, the same color that Eldora Gatchel drives. Just saying.
On hold and decided to get some footage of the local law enforcement detail. I didn't expect too many problems here, since this is one of the few counties where the sheriff has stood up against the orders Governor Brad Little has placed on anyone existing inside the imaginary lines on this earth our ruling class defines as Idaho. I'm not going to say anything else because this video speaks for itself. You can find links to both Extortion Everywhere and North Idaho Exposed in the description below. Go check them out and consider subbing them if you like their content. Links to my sources are also listed in the description. And while you're checking those out, remember to hit the like button, share this video on all your social media platforms, leave me a comment, and make sure you subscribe to the channel and hit the bell so you get notified of future uploads right away. Also, consider checking me out on censorship fighting platforms like BitChute and 3Speak. I'm uploading my content to those platforms first, so go check them out and consider getting an account there for access to my videos before others can view them here on YouTube.
Watch this.
How you doing? Doing all right. So,
Look at Marty Ryan.
Oh, it's just a camera with a selfie stick.
Yeah, this is like a video you're making, or?
Yeah, I'm just documenting information. These are unprecedented times we're in, so just documenting everything's shut down and nice day. So I'm trying to get out and enjoy it while we still can.
You local?
What's that?
Local?
Oh, I don't want to answer any questions.
Oh, really?
Yeah. Sorry.
You know what? It just didn't have to take a high level of aptitude to think that, you know, of course, these are odd times. I've been around the world in some bad environments in my life. And so a lot of times I see actions follow certain actions. You know, so you see folks walking around filming what would be a institution of enforcement. A lot of times not the best purposes. You know, you would sort of conceal that and upfront about it. That's how you being implicit or supportive of that.
Right.
And so I think that's cool. But it's still, you know,
well, yeah, no, I understand that. Do you see how, as a citizen, though, it's different for us in these times? Like you mentioned, you're enforcement, and we're worried about some of these new orders that governors are just giving out as edicts that control all of us. And unfortunately, you're in the position of either choosing to enforce those or, you know, follow what your job is supposed to do and enforce them or not. So that's kind of, you know, that's why we're out here. We're just kind of documenting, see what's going on. You know, my understanding is for the most part, at least a lot of the towns and people I've spoken to so far is, you know, officers like yourself are just trying to educate people about, you know, what the orders are, why they're there, things like that. So,
yeah.
So that's good to hear. I mean, so far I haven't heard of any enforcement of anybody saying, well, you shouldn't be out, so I'm going to write you a ticket or anything like that. I'm not really honestly even sure what ticket you guys would write it under.
Yeah, you know, there's some kind of code out there that I guess it just falls under. You care less.
Right.
You know, I would think that our community or population, you're talk to them.
Most of the smaller communities, we're kind of just traveling around the rural communities, just checking out, seeing. And I would say most of the rural communities, people, yeah, I mean, I grew up in a smaller town. I grew up in Montana, and people will, look out for each other more. So it's nice to see. And it's, I guess I'm trying to kind of carry stories like this to other places, whereas just look out for each other. We don't have to, be out here, you can't do this, you can't do that. We can all just look out for each other,
In a sense of pride, I say, we've been the way we are now, always in this little town. We have a great level of cooperation between our police department, our sheriff's department, and our community. And anytime, and every time you can talk to a citizen, you get cooperation. You talk to a group, you get cooperation. That's always the first step.
Right. Yeah.
Better for everybody. First to day one.
Right. Yeah. Yeah. Oh, yeah. Right. Especially in communities like this. Yeah. Yeah.
Right.
Yeah. No, I agree. And
make sure there's no threat being brought.
Oh, no. Yeah, we have no
fathers and mothers and people's sons and daughters.
We all are too. I hear you. I would do the same for my friends, so I understand that. One thing and you seem like a reasonable person, you're probably already thinking along these lines, and like we've already talked about it, but I have been just like we were in Spokane earlier, and I was just reminding the officer I spoke to there, I just remember during this time that there's a lot of families that have been told they can't go to work or their work is shut down. And so they're really suffering. And so just, if the governor does say, hey, you guys need to start enforcing these instead of just kind of educating, then that's when I think, someone like yourself, like you said, in this little town, you have more compassion for people because they're your neighbors. So you're not as likely to just say, hey, I'm going to enforce this because I don't know what you're doing or whatever. So I appreciate that. And I just would ask you to just make sure you kind of think about that if orders do come down to actually start enforcing this stuff and all that.
I appreciate it again. It's not just a fly-by-night.
Right. Yeah. Right.
So that wisdom was well thought out and come upon a long time ago, and it's shared from officer to officer. The most professional cops I've worked with in this small town, places like Spokane, Washington, places. It's not always the English in the public.
You guys, what the fuck does Boundary County Sheriff's need to
because
tank
this
for?
video speaks for itself.
Like, what?
You can find links to both Extortion Everywhere and North Idaho Exposed in the description below. Go check them out.
What the fuck do you need this for? This tank. This is literally 3 weeks after Brian Drake was murdered, okay? Anyways, I want to show you one more thing. So let me just show you this. So this Misha woman, she was literally she does a TikTok video because she was like pulled over. And let me show you what happened when she did this. They then arrested her. And they arrested her 3 times in the past like 2 weeks. Like, what the fuck? And let's see. Let's see. I think I have to do it under. Oh wait, here we go.
I saw him close the back door. I saw him close the back door.
Look at, what is this?
I saw him close the back door.
Oh wait, hold on, there's more. That wasn't the right one. She did a TikTok video. God, how do I go to that shit? I'm horrible at finding TikTok videos. Like, who the fuck gets on TikTok? My God, I hate TikTok. I don't even know how to find a video on TikTok. Oh, maybe I should have somebody send it to me. You got to see what she said. She laid all their cards out on the table unless they took this shit down. Let me see. All right, I found it. Oh, ours a daughter science video. Okay, there we go. All right.
Nope. But I will tell you this. Satan knows his time is near. The amount of persecution I have endured in this hour. And it's not just from like the haters online. But it is people in position of power and authority who clearly are participating in this like willful, oh, let's go ahead and bring in the Tower of Babel and, you know, let's get our whole Babylonian Roman Empire like built and ready to go for when the Antichrist rises. And it's just like, y'all wake up, wake up. You guys are fulfilling end times Bible prophecy. You are aiding Satan. You are attacking the children of the Most High. And the funny thing is, y'all be coming at a Jew, like a legit DNA bloodline descendant Jew. Yeah, Judgment Day. There's like an extra judgment, I'm quite sure of it, for those that mess with God's chosen children, the Jews. And
Shalom, Saints. Okay, so I wanted to do a follow-up to my most recent post regarding
This is not it either. Wait, maybe it is it. Hold on.
Shalom, Saints. Okay, so I wanted to do a follow-up to my most recent post regarding a local police officer that is running for sheriff in my hometown community. Now, I got a little clap back, and you know what? Rightfully so. People don't like hearing the truth, and I understand. Okay, I completely get it that if you don't really truly want to hear the truth sounds like hate to those who hate truth. And so with that, first and foremost, to the guys that sent me messages saying, you know, you shouldn't be doing this, and this isn't the way, blah, 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 blah. I'm not even going to like quote and go into like full detail as to the clapback I got from men talking about, you know, just being silent and, you know, just share fluffy videos, you know. No, I didn't survive that in which was meant to kill me so that I could be silent doing nothing but cute, warm, cuddly videos. Okay. Absolutely. Yes. I will continue to share the word of God and read the word aloud to you guys. But when it comes to me being a watchman on the wall, called to expose not only human trafficking, but the Freemasonry and the corruption within our law enforcement, within our government, and how these secret societies work, I won't be quiet. I won't be quiet. And if that offends you, you are more than welcome to unsubscribe. Okay? I'm not here for you. I'm here for Jesus. Now, the Holy Scriptures tell us that the foundation to wisdom is fear of our Lord God Almighty. So I fear God first and foremost, and I will not compromise. Okay? Especially in this area. I'm steadfast in this area to expose the wicked schemes of darkness, the enemy's plots and plans to indoctrinate our children. Again, most people think that human trafficking looks like that, as in the movie Sound of Freedom, a third world country problem with kids being shipped in and cargo ships and being drug across with these Mexican drug cartels and at the southern border. And they think that it's all, you know, another nation's problems. It's not just your elites either.
For those of you that are finally awake to the fact that these elites are definitely behind these pedophilia rings, it's your local law enforcement. It's your judges. It's your teachers. It's your businessmen. We've been indoctrinated for decades to think that the pedophile is some creepy guy in a white van, that a child that goes missing is only valid when they end up on a milk carton. Nothing is what we thought it was, you guys. We have all paid a price being indoctrinated to see things through the world's perspective in which they completely narrated to deceive us. It's time to wake up. I don't fear man. To fear man is to set a trap for yourself. I'm not about to fear man. Therefore, I don't fear speaking the truth, exposing law enforcement who's corrupt, who's 33rd degree Freemasonry. These Shriners, if it wasn't for my testimony, I would just be just a person, thinking I knew what I was talking about. But this is my testimony. This is what I survived. This is what my Lord, God Almighty, redeemed and saved me from. He rescued me. He ransomed me. He is my shield, my strength, my redeemer, my healer, my hope, my strong foundation, my banner. He goes before me. He will never leave me or forsake me.
Okay.
I can't even begin to tell you the hell in which I endured as a child, only to have these Freemason agents of the KOD who wear badges within law enforcement across multiple platforms be the very people who covered up the crimes and aided my abusers, because they're all in the Brotherhood. They're all in the Brotherhood. They're under oath. I advocate for the victims, not for men. So I say to the men who discouraged me from going forth and raising awareness and sharing my testimony, for being a light in darkness, I ask you, why are you okay with law enforcement covering up these crimes against our children? Why are you okay with them being sexually groomed and indoctrinated only to be victimized all the more so that they have traumas in the spirit realm in which binds them to the enemy? Why are you okay with crimes being covered up and law enforcement abusing their power and authority? Why do you have a problem with the woman who survived such monstrosities speaking out? Why aren't you out there protecting our children?
Okay, so that got the attention because she came back to town. Now check this out. I'm just going to play it. So that got the attention that, hey, she's back in town. These people voted her in to be the senior rec centers of the senior center. She got voted in to be like the CEO, interim CEO. Okay, because they were doing crazy shit at the senior rec center. Watch this shit. This is Idaho. Check this out. Hold on, I have to pull it up. Oh shit. Let me do it like this. Okay. Okay, good. Work. Oh, there we go. Okay. God, I'm so new to TikTok. I don't even know how this shit works. Okay, here it is.
Viewer advice. Officer McBride. Viewer discretion is advised. Officer McBride, I forgive you for stalking me at my place of employment, waiting for me to get into my vehicle so that you could see which vehicle I got into to pull me over so you can get information as to what vehicle was registered to me, to aid Officer Jefferson and other law enforcement officers who have been spending the last several years, 2 to be exact, trying to figure out what I drive and where I live. And the only way you guys were going to actually get some sort of accurate drop pin on me was by figuring out where my vehicle was registered to. Yes, yes. You see, your informants, Chris Messenbrink and Philip Sweet, for years continue to ask me, what do you drive? Where do you live? What do you drive? What are you driving? What are you driving? Where do you live? Where are you living now? Not, hi, how are you doing? How are things with the kids? Congratulations on becoming a grandmother. No. Instead, they're just gathering data for you to report back, as most informants and gang stalkers do. So with that, to those of the Boundary County Police Department, I forgive you. I forgive you for running me out of town in 2020 for disrupting operations per Detective Mack. I forgive you for harassing me, Officer Bobby Goad, for attempting to rip me out of my vehicle. You know, the last vehicle that you guys knew was registered to me, my AMG. Yeah, Jepson made reference of that in the false 911 call a few weeks ago on April 8th, trying to figure out my location so that they could SWAT me and run me out of town again. You know, back in 2020 when you ran me out of town for disrupting your operations. What operations are we talking about? Well, apparently, when I surrendered Jasper Nauman's drug cartel phone, I also tipped you guys off about some other illegal activity in which I wasn't supposed to know about, kind of like back in 1991, 92, and 93, when I was a witness to the things in which you guys were doing illegally, unethically, in which you then used Randy Weaver as your scapegoat for, covering everything up so that you can keep your organized crime concealed and in full operation. Yeah, so I guess I do owe you an apology. Let's go ahead and start with none other than former officer, now mayor, Rick Alonzo. Yeah, we're going to start with you. We're going to start with you because it was like your polyester blues back in the day that really embedded my PTSD in regards to law enforcement. It's what you did to me. Don't worry. We'll get to your cohorts here in a minute. You know, Mike Nauman, Rob Braniff, Sprungle. We'll get to those guys here in a few. But I first want to start with you. You had the audacity to approach me after the forum at my place of employment back in April. At which point, the first thing out of your mouth was, can we step aside somewhere private? Now, if you recall, and according to security footage, I had nowhere to go and I was not about to leave the flock to go step aside somewhere private so you and I could talk. No. I did, however, push myself into the back corner of the piano, up at the podium, so that all eyes could still see me. Only to have you remind me who you were, to let me know that you've been promoted to mayor. Wow, you've earned the community's trust, meaning they still don't know. They still don't know what you did while you were in uniform. They have no clue. You're so charming, by the way, I must say. Yeah, you still have that charm about you. I also noticed that you and Chris Messenbrink kept making sure to keep eye contact with one another. Yeah, trust me, that was duly noted. Even though you were the first to go and he was the last to leave, I did pick up on your guys' communication. Moving right along, let's go ahead and go to the winter before the Randy Weaver standoff. Yes. And this is where your cohort, Mike Nauman, comes in. Yeah. Get ready, guys. Because you're going to realize a lot of the crimes in which were put on you have a lot to do with my testimony. That winter, Mike Nauman and his son Jasper Nauman apparently went on a robbery spree. One in particular robbery that went down happened to be the robbery of my uncle, Robert Allen Smith, an honorable man, a righteous man, who was away on holiday down in California at his other ranch. When his home here in Boundary County, out on Deer Park Road, was robbed of roughly 20 firearms and a safe, in which One Jasper Nauman and John R. attempted to blow open with my uncle's Highway State Patrolman 357 revolver. Upon opening it, with Mike Nauman's knowledge, they found my family's Freemason memorabilia. Yeah, guys, fasten your seatbelt. It's going to be a bumpy ride on this one. In finding his Freemason memorabilia, they had one of those uh-oh moments. We've crossed a brother. We've crossed a brother. So Mike Nauman returned everything, dumping it right there in the doorway at the front door. The safe had been blown open with the 357, along with all of the rifles. And on his safe was a little note written on a police pad of paper that said, "Sorry, sir, we've returned everything." Now, upon my uncle's return home from holiday, he immediately called 911 when he discovered his house had been broken into and his firearms and safe had been stolen. He wanted to make sure that no crimes were committed with his guns. Upon calling 911, Mike Nauman intercepted dispatch. How convenient. Now, mind you, Mike Nauman happened to be a city police officer. My uncle lived out in the county. He told county deputies to stand down. He'd take the call. Mike Nauman, late one night, after that 911 dispatch call, went out to my uncle's property. And upon giving my uncle the good old-fashioned Freemason handshake, realized, oh no, he's not a brother. He didn't take the oath. Yeah, my uncle chose not to walk in his father's and grandfather's footsteps. He was a righteous man, a born-again believer. He didn't go down the path of the occult. Because he was a righteous man, he forgave Mike Nauman and Jasper Nauman and John Orr for the robbery. However, that didn't suffice with Mike Nauman. He knew somebody else was in the house, a witness. That witness, that somebody else, was none other than me. Time would pass. Mike Nauman calls me into City Hall up to his office to address some rumors in town that I'm being molested and abused, and tries putting the crimes on my uncle, at which point I adamantly tell him, no, my uncle is a righteous man. He's never done anything against me. He would never molest me. He would never hurt me. He's actually the one who protects me from my abusers. My abuser being my mother and my stepfather, Dan Boley, my molester, amongst other people my mother let in the house to molest and abuse her children. But I sat there fighting as a little girl, being interrogated by Mike Nauman, defending my uncle, at which point Mike Nauman called his Freemason buddies up. You know, Jack Douglas, Sprungle. Oh yeah, they're involved too. Rob Braniff. Good old Rick Alonzo. Sadly, there was another officer involved, and for whatever reason, I can't really fault him at this point, and I have not been able to fault him because I truly believe he was just taking orders. You know who you are. You know exactly who you are, and I won't mention your name because everything in me says you were just taking orders. You were a young cop. You had no idea. However, Rob Braniff knew. Sprungle knew. And most importantly, Rick Alonzo knew. So they waited for the most opportune time for my uncle to go again on holiday, this time on a fishing trip. At which point, Rob Braniff, along with the other officer, would unknowingly, illegally, and unethically detain me for a period of 7 to 10 days in an undisclosed location in which they would tell me, this is for your own good, you're suicidal. And day after day, they would come in. And by they, I mean Rick Alonzo, Mike Nauman, would come in and gaslight me and torture me, putting the fear of law enforcement in me. What I endured during those 7 to 10 days, being detained unethically and illegally, against my will, being told I was suicidal, this is for my own good, all while you handed me the very knives in which I was to slit my wrist with, the psychological, emotional, and spiritual warfare in which I endured, classic MK Ultra. You had no business detaining me. You had no business holding me against my will. You had no business, Rick Alonzo, coming into that room while I stood there naked showering as a little girl, threatening me and my well-being, telling me that if I didn't sign falsified affidavits against other kids in the community in which you wanted to pin crimes on, crimes in which Mike Nauman and other law enforcement had a hand in, to threaten me with my uncle being arrested and having false crimes placed on him in order to get me to sign affidavits against other kids in the community, only to then leave me unattended so that Jasper Nauman and John Orr could continue with the psychological warfare in which they did to me. The citizens of Boundary County, they have the right to know the truth as to what you guys have been doing, how you abuse your power and authority, how you pin crimes on other people, crimes in which you have a hand in, that your kids have a hand in. The gig is up, you guys. People are waking up, and I'll be damned if I'll be silenced or ran out of town. Every time I come home, you guys try running me out of town in fear that I will start speaking out about what happened. Yeah. Well, your fear is valid. I'm speaking out about everything, right down to Fink and Van Meter and Sprungle, once again, covering that whole shenanigan up. Funny how when he scrubbed records and tried to clean things up, he forgot to scrub the Herald, where it clearly showed I was exonerated. Funny how y'all can't find that. Did you ever really go down the rabbit hole? Probably not, because you would much rather have the salacious gossip and slander that has no valid facts. The things of this world are more pleasing to you than actually having spiritual discernment to understand what is the truth and what isn't, and how the enemy works. Maybe read the Holy Scriptures and see that we're literally living in end times Bible prophecy right now, and things are unfolding just as were prophesied. There's more. Oh, there's more. Yeah. But I'm going to go ahead and just hit pause for today. Yeah. So I can just go pray and meditate and think about how it is I'm going to disclose more information, more factual information. Now, again, I'm not of this world, unlike some of you. I know a lot of watchmen in this hour, they want facts. They want tangible facts. Wake up, okay? We've all been played. The secret society is in control of the facts, and they do one hell of a number on the people by altering the facts, redacting the facts, destroying evidence, deleting footage from body cam. Like, come on, you guys. Spiritual discernment. Operate in the spirit of truth. Use the Holy Scriptures to reveal to you that which is true. You don't need man-made facts. Okay? Listen to the Holy Spirit. He'll lead you into all truth, even on things such as this.
All right. So she was arrested 3 times. Ready for this? In the second time she was arrested, there was an article that was put out. And I've tried to get her body cam from this arrest, because in the arrest, she says that she tells the cops that they killed Brian Drake. But the cops try to say that she was trying to say that she killed Brian Drake. And the way that they put this article out, you guys can go look it up for yourselves. But I thought to myself, holy shit. This is wild, because when she had reached out to me and we were talking, she wanted to tell me some things that she knew, and she knew that I was really only concerned about the Moore Drake case. And she knows all of these people because she was married to Jasper Nauman. Jasper Nauman is the son of Mike Nauman. And in Bonner's Ferry, there's the city gods. So there's like 5 dudes that run the town there, and the police answer to them. And one of those guys is a judge. The other are businessmen, and one was the chief back in the day, Mike Nauman, who and they all run the drugs. And I've had people that run the drugs come forward to me and tell me about what they would do. They would hire prostitutes. It's wild. But did you hear the part about deleting body cams? Did you hear the part about scrubbing cameras, not going and get cameras? It's exactly what they did in the Brian Drake case. But she's right when she says you can't get to everything, but you need to have somebody that's willing to take the time and who knows where to go and search for things in order to find the stuff that you could use that could actually prove an innocent man. Dr. Moore is innocent. 100% innocent. He was framed after it was a setup to frame him from the beginning. But these people are sick. Idaho State Police, the same people that were investigating that case, did the Idaho4 case. And these people have no integrity. And this isn't about, hey, just let the evidence, I took my oath. I'm going to, be a good cop. You don't even have that opportunity. It's pretty sick. And when I was investigating the Brian Drake, Dr. Moore case over the past 2 months, the stuff that I've come across is literally vom. But Bonners Ferry is 30 miles from the Canada border. Go look it up. But the correlations and what was coming from Coeur d'Alene and Hayden into Bonners Ferry and then into Canada, you need somebody that's going to travel from Hayden, Coeur d'Alene area up to Bonners Ferry, and who goes there once or twice a week because their job takes them there. Anyways, she may be crazy, but she's not lying. See you guys soon. Run it back. Idaho's a wild place, guys. Wild as fuck. Much love, nothing but love. See you on the flip side. Thank you, moderators. Thank you, members. Thank you, subscribers. And all you people that are watching in Bonners Ferry. Your police and Jennifer Drake were 100% involved in the murder of Brian Drake, as well as Eldora Gatchel knows the truth. And maybe that little Hawaiian girl should come up out of her shell and tell the truth. Because the first person that cuts the deal, you guys know how it works. Tide's returning. See you soon. The shit I have, the money train I have, the paper trail on the money that involves Jennifer Drake that connects all y'all motherfuckers is dynamite.